first election with Andrew Gillum, obviously up until a certain point, was very close.
Here's another one with the Latino vote in Florida. So y'all don't listen to the radio down here. It is all of the Latin Spanish channels are heavily Republican. All that's going on, the news and the Latin channels down here is there is no Democratic counter in the Latin media down here. That's why so many Cubans vote Republican. Y'all don't have, there's nobody saying the Democratic
I don't know about that. I think
he's not lying.
Those Cubans, a lot of those Cubans vote Republican for a different reason. And we don't have to flush that out, but there's a different reason why they vote Republican. It has very little to do with the political influence.
Is it to be close to whiteness?
That is exactly the reason why.
Okay, so that's part of it. I'll give you that. But there is also a piece of it that the language media down here, or the Spanish media down here, turns everything y'all want to do and run it into, we're going to turn this into Cuba. And because there is no counter to that, the Cubans are down here thinking y'all are about to turn the country into the socialist hellhole they just left. So that is part of the problem. No, it's not just the racial. I will give you the racial piece, but I don't think that's all. That's there's also a part of it that is community.
No, I just want to say real quick, if I could, guys, I appreciate the convo, but I just want to see if we can hear from some new voices like Uncle, Pink Pill, Mike, or Mimi. You know, you can keep it going, but just in an effort to move the mic around a bit. But I do appreciate the convo.
All right, I'm gonna ask a question, then I'm mute up. CEO, are you telling me that electoral votes can't be gerrymandered if they do a winner takes all approach?
No, I'm sorry. That's not what I'm saying. What he was bringing up was he was saying Texas is going to have more electoral votes, Florida is having more electoral votes, and Pennsylvania will have less. That's because their populations have grown and shrunk respectively. So I was only speaking about that.
Okay, I got you. I'm going to mute up so we can have new voices.
Hey, Mimi.
Hi. I am a registered independent, but I'm for the first time, and I've led Democratic.
Those don't exist.
That's an inside joke.
That's absolutely do not exist.
I think that a lot of the fundamentals that the Democratic Party used to have, I still stand behind. The problem is that the other side is picking up those issues, and I don't see the Democratic Party really focusing. What I see is them just fighting, just trying to just block everything. But I don't know what principles they stand for. One of the things that I think should be a priority is that Gen Z is not able to afford anything, can't afford homes. They can barely afford their rent to stay in apartments, and neither party, I think, is doing enough to address this problem. And it is pissing me off because that's a cornerstone. If you can own something here and you have skin in the game, you're not so mad at everybody. Think about it.
Really?
If you could be
$1,000 a month for property taxes
and still buy a condo, maybe you would feel like you have something to lose, as opposed to just you don't have anything. And if you can have something that you own, then you can feel and you have a decent salary, then you might feel more free to find a partner and get married and have children. I really think the source of all of it is just that people are not able to have the things that they have seen other generations have, and it makes them feel really hopeless. I don't think it's helpful that both sides call each other names. It's not productive. I feel like we're not getting anything done. And it just, the rhetoric is coming to the point where people are talking about civil war. So it's very upsetting. But I just want to say too that
people say all
the
kinds
lack
of shit.
Communication of
Don't
the
mean it's real,
policies
dummy.
that matter to Americans and not other people. I'll give you an example. I live in California. In Los Angeles, I couldn't believe it. It's still very, very Democratic, so I don't want to give the wrong impression. But I just saw some data reported that 30,000 people just registered as as Republican in Los Angeles, and that's probably because of how Gavin Newsom handled the Palisades fire. That's a yeah.
What?
So the Palisades fire.
Oh,
Let her land.
I will. Could you just repeat what started that? She said how many people?
30,000. She said 30,000 left, and she thinks it's attributed to
30,000 left California?
No. Registered, left the Democratic Party and became Republicans.
There's no way
And she thinks it's attributed to the way Newsom handled the Palisade fires and the recovery process and the way that the homes and the. I know she's referencing, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Pink Pill.
This is interesting.
This is what I like, and I say this respectively. I want to say that this is what I don't like. Like, you don't even know what I said, and you're so ready to jump on me. And this is not me being a victim. This is just me pointing out behavior that I see.
No, I'm not ready to jump on you. I was ready for you to repeat what you said because I'm definitely looking it up.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I jumped in.
You also have to forgive Lisa because she's in love with Gavin Newsom. So don't.
That's her baby daddy.
Yeah.
The man that destroyed
That has
California.
nothing to do with what's going on here right now.
The man that
I need to
destroyed
get through.
California.
That's her
He
baby
did
daddy.
not destroy us. I love Gavin Newsom, and Gavin Newsom is gonna save us, Lisa.
Oh my God.
Okay, I want her to complete this because I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. So and what I'm also seeing, I also tracked the party affiliations and people switching. They're switching in the surrounding Southern California counties where I live. So I live in Riverside County that just abuts San Diego. San Diego is really like the only county that Republicans haven't seen significant gains in California. And the reason why I bring it up, even though it's relatively small, people who registered Republican in Los Angeles were 30,000, and only 4,000 people registered as Democrat at the same window period of time. So I think that that's a really strong indicator that Democrats are not really delivering. I think that they are ignoring things that are happening in their own backyard, and I think people are just getting tired of people saying that they don't see what they see with their own eyes. And I live in California. I know people who were adjacent to the Palisades fire, and it was really handled very terribly. And a lot of people.
What aspects do you think were handled terribly? I know what the pushback was here. I just want to hear which ones you highlight.
That they didn't have available water. That a lot of the tanks were empty when the fire happened. So that was one. Another thing is that there was some spotting of a brush fire. I think it was put out, but was not put out properly. It reignited, so they have issues with that. They also, because of an endangered species, they don't want to cut down brush that is that is highly flammable because of some sort of plant that is like natural to the area. And so there's a lot of overgrown brush that environmentalists have blocked from getting cleared. So it makes everybody in danger of fire who lives in that area. And then finally, so like it's not a problem for me. I just want to preface this. But a lot of people are mad because Pacific Palisades is a beautiful area and Gavin Newsom is clearing it for low-income housing. Now, that's great for the people who need low-income housing, but just think about all those million-dollar homes, and some of those people, they couldn't even get home insurance because of the fire dangers. So they lost their homes, and they don't, they get very little recovery money, and now like to
Okay.
So you're covering so many things, we're not going to be able to respond to all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Haitian.
Go ahead, Haitian. One mic on Haitian.
Yeah, come on.
Hold on.
Wow.
I looked it up about how the shift, and there's nothing. I have found nothing. So can you please put the link of the people who are switching to Republican in California? You said 30,000.
I'll try.
Because I'm going through here right now.
Elisa, can I make a comment?
Hold on real quick.
Haitian wanted to go.
Elisa, can I make a comment?
The thing I see is the Latino.
We gotta have one mic on Haitian. What are we doing? One mic on Haitian.
Hold on, that wasn't finished.
Oh, you wasn't finished, Lisa?
The only thing I see is Politico. There's an article in Politico, and when everything settles down, I will go through that article in Politico. Okay, go ahead, Haitian. I'm passing the mic.
Haitian, go ahead, bro.
Lisa, I put the link in the chat. She's
I
accurate.
think maybe he swiped out by accident.
He's accurate.
Oh, he's back. Yeah, go ahead, Haitian.
Go ahead, Haitian.
No, it's interesting. You bringing up low income housing.
I just love how people just are so quick and ready to
Go on mute.
Okay, he was on mute when you were speaking. Come on, Pink Pill.
No, I just found it interesting that you brought up the issue with low income housing, but then you brought up people not being able to afford homes. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of funny.
It's not my opinion. I said that I'm just saying for the people who are there. No, listen, because I'm putting myself in the shoes of people who lost their homes from the fire, did not have insurance, and there's no way to recover it. I'm just telling you what their sentiment might be. I didn't give you
Can I ask you a real quick question, if I could? So I think you went over a whole laundry list why all the fires were Gavin Newsom's fault. In that list, I didn't hear.
And that link has nothing to do
I didn't
with
hear
what you
the.
said.
I didn't hear the D word.
Very much wasted my.
I didn't hear the drought. You just glazed over the fact that they were going. California at the beginning of the year was going through a bad drought.
Sir, I live in California. And there was no drought, sir. I live in California. We weren't in a drought at the time. You can check if you don't believe me.
I mean, we had a firestorm, and that there's not enough fire trucks, enough water to put that type of fire out. Like, I'm born and raised in Southern California.
Me too.
San Diego to be specific. And San Diego has always had a little Republican, hold. Like, when I'm right now at the beach, right now at PB. If I go into a t-shirt shop, it's gonna be Trump shirts. They always had on our bay. They always had Trump parades. That was when he first got it off the first time. So San Diego has always kind of been on the conservative side. They don't even have certain concerts here. We don't get any real concerts here because it's so conservative. So. Yeah, because San Diego is very conservative. We have Alpine, Clan T. You know what we call it, Clan T, Santee, because the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan used to live there for years. So San Diego is kind of a conservative city. So, but as far as that fire is concerned, we always we had those storms. There's no way he handled it the best way he could. There's no way. So many experts from even different cities, different firefighters from different cities have said there's no way that there's not enough water fire trucks that could control that type of fire with the wind we were having. Right, that Santa Ana was hopping, and then we have people starting fires. All these people who hate California because they can't afford it. Get out, brokey. And is this setting stuff on fire? How could they control that? And you gonna? It's the truth, though.
No, she's not. She's right.
People here that are broke, that don't want to leave. There's so many people that need to move to Texas because they can't afford California. That's here, and they hate California because they sit on their ass and then they take advantage of opportunity, and they're broke as hell, and they hate Cali, but they can't leave Cali. We have so many of those type of people, and I'm ending with that.
Let me say this real quick. One second.
Before you do, can I just say there was
no, Pink Pill, give me 1 second.
No, you cannot. You can't.
Pink Pill, give me 1 second. I'm gonna be brief though. First of all, there was a drought. 100% there was a drought. I don't like misinformation, right? California was experiencing drought conditions during the time of the Palisades fires in January 2025. They gave me the exact rating. It was considered a moderate drought D1 or abnormally dry D0. Right? So we absolutely were experiencing a drought during that time period. One.
Thank
Two,
you, Gemini.
Two, the Santa Ana winds were hitting during that time, which they do every year, right? The Santa Ana winds are an annual occurrence, right? But this time it hit a little differently. We got winds up to 100 miles per hour, right? That doesn't normally happen. So that's why the fires were jumping so far. You have the ember from one location jump to the next location, to the next location, and it's unpredictable. And it makes it a lot harder for the helicopters that would normally be out to dump water or whatever fire retardant on top of those fires to be operable. There was a couple days where they couldn't even fucking move. Right, I lived out here. I got evacuated during that. Right, so I can tell you right now, when you look at that, you cannot blame Gavin for what happened. You cannot blame Gavin for what happened. I'll be the first to do it.
That's the fact. And
Yeah.
I want to jump in here and let you guys know.
Hang on, Pinko. Hang on. I think Sue was talking. Thank you.
You know, I'm listening to people.
Oh, go ahead, CEO. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, just give me 7 seconds. So I just want to say that what Pink Pill is saying, all her points are debatable, so please don't treat them like conspiracy. I've heard them many times. People have argued about these things. I'm not saying she's right, but don't treat them like conspiracy.
The drought is not debatable. The drought is not accurate.
You said she was accurate, and that article doesn't say what you said. The uptick since 2021 wouldn't reference a fucking fire that just happened this year.
Right.
So
That's what I said, Quinn. Thank you for wasting my fucking time reading that article.
That's a stupid thing to contend. And it also says the very first thing that it says on the damn article, the very first one. It says that the first section of the article says nearly half of independent registration has declined somewhat. That's exactly what it says at the very first section of the article.
Yeah, thank you for wasting my time. Hold on for just a second. Hold on.
This one. There you go.
Okay, well, I read it.
The data point right now is brand new. It's a data point, but it's very clear.
Okay, whatever. It is. Okay, so let me tell you guys a little secret about California for all the Californians who live there. California is not Oregon, and it's not Seattle. It is not a green state. Southern California is a fucking desert. I went to a place they call San Jose yesterday. It is so fucking dry out there. I thought, good Lord. One side were the fields where they were planting shit. I don't know what kind of crops they were planting. And the other side was brittle, dry, the natural part that hadn't been farmed or touched or whatever. The hillsides where those windmilly things are, all those hills, all that grassland in California is fucking dry. It is not a green state. When is the last time it's rained in Southern California? Quickly.
It just rained.
Can't even think about it.
It wasn't a rain. It was a sprinkle. It was not rain. It was a sprinkle.
We don't get no rain out here.
Absolutely right.
I'm in LA traffic right now. It is sunny as hell.
You're right, Lisa. It's a desert.
Lisa, you damn right.
You are right. Everyone knows that. That's from here.
I'm literally in LA traffic right now. It ain't no rain.
It is not raining. What you call rain. We're talking about rain. The kind of rain they have in Seattle. The kind of rain they have in Washington State and Oregon. You guys don't get that kind of rain.
The type that can be measured in inches.
It's a fucking desert, okay? That's why there should not even be allowed to have lawns and shit in California where y'all niggas get out there and have these green ass fucking lawns back and front.
Not too much on the green lawns. You done went too far. You done went too far.
Come on, be
I pay Jose a lot.
You know
what are you doing?
It's not the lawn. It's the brush.
And you wasting all that drinkable water.
I pay Jose good money to keep my shit green. What are you
It's really
doing?
not. It's not the lines. The lawn. It's the brush. And you know, people would like. Pink Pill was talking about them not cutting down stuff. People, because you know, in your backyard, you'll be looking at a canyon, and it's just nothing but a canyon. If it has plants and bushes and animals and people like that. Oh, a squirrel. Oh, I see a deer. But they gotta cut that down because that's a risk for fire.
Correct.
Those homeowners will protest that because they don't want to look at an empty canyon in their backyard. It doesn't look pretty. They'll protest even getting that brush. Like, they only this certain amount of inches from my home. I want the wildlife. You're killing the animals, but it's really the scenic, you know, because it would look crazy. Like you said, we shouldn't, it's because it's a desert. We shouldn't have green grass. We shouldn't have all this brush. And what would that make us look like? Arizona? No, they want to look like pretty California, and they will fucking go and they'll go against cutting down the brush because they don't want their house to look like that. They don't want the scenery in their backyard when they're looking into the canyon to look like that. So you're right. That's what it is.
Also,
You guys who live in California, you guys need to go back and look at the history of California, because when my parents decided to relocate to retire in Manhattan Beach, I started studying California, even though I had aunties already lived there for just about all her adult life, okay? And now she's in her late 60s, 70s. The history of California, when they started with Hollywood Land instead of Hollywood, and the drive to bring people west into California, they marketed California as a place where you go to get better. Right? I'm gonna get that whole thing about that guy, that XY. Have you guys seen that place XYZ something? They marketed California as an oasis, but it was all man-made. Do you know palm trees are not even from fucking California? That they brought that shit in, but
You
now
sound
it's
like a real hater right now.
I love California. What the fuck?
You telling us not to water our grass and all, like,
But she's right. This is how Owens Mouth got its name.
California geographically, topographically was not made for the way it's being
They listed Southern California as the end of the Owens Valley.
That
was Owens Mouth.
Had to build that.
I thought Owens Mouth must have been a hell of a oral
all
supporter.
the way down from Owens Valley just to bring water into California.
You're
and
talking
then
about
that
Zion?
shit damn broke. And then the water is not evenly sourced in California.
It's coming from the reservoirs.
From fucking Oregon and Washington State.
It never made it to
Oh,
California.
y'all got it.
Lisa, I will give you this. I'm gonna be real brief. I will give you this.
To get in there too, Gemini, but go ahead.
I yield to her right now, but I will say this, Lisa. We have to like, we get these notices that tells us like on Tuesdays and Thursdays this summer we're not allowed to use our water, or you're not allowed to use your water after 5 o'clock, and you can report your neighbor if you see them and they'll get fined. I still do it anyway. I'll pay the fine because my shit ain't gonna go brown. But at the end of the day, we do have water shortages, and it's very severe, and we get these notices all the time, right? So when somebody says it's not a drought and they live down here, I'm like, how? There's no way you live down here, because we get this in the mailbox every day.
Okay, Gemini, what I'm trying to say is I did
Sorry,
cross-check.
Pink Pill, maybe you didn't hear me before. Pink Pill, Sue is waiting. You can go after her.
And
Thank
what
you.
I
Go
want
ahead,
to
Sue.
say to all of this bantering back and forth, what's not being said, is that Caruso, who wanted to be the mayor, who lives in Brentwood, has a private fire department that put out the fire on his property in the Palisades and didn't save anything else around his property, did nothing for the community, has a private fire department in Brentwood for himself and for the residents of Brentwood that pay for that. But this is the person that wants to be able to tell us how to recover from these fires, because he's going to come in and put in manufactured homes and help people who cannot afford to rebuild. So I want to first put it out there for those of you that think you're going to tell those of us that live here how the fire is affecting us and how the rebuilding efforts are happening and how the monies are being allocated, who's getting it, who's not, where the insurance is happening, where it's not. I'm here to let you know we're living it. So before you go ahead and say what the decisions are that are being made, speak to those that live it on a daily basis. Because right now we have the largest construction project in the country going on. Right here, under my nose and Gemini's nose, the largest flippin' construction job in the country right now. And if you think that's being funded by nothing, come again.
And it's happening in Altadena as well. And if you think there's no insurance paying for it, if you don't think there's government assistance happening, think again. So I want to say, Pink Pill, before you start spewing what you're spewing, get your facts together. I too am right here in LA County. Now, I agree, we've had a water drought for many years. It didn't start yesterday. It started 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and Lisa was spot on. Southern California was sold as the end of the gold rush, and this is where the water was going to end. And if you come to the San Fernando Valley, there are streets that run right through here. One is called Owens Mouth, and it got its name by the people that founded it, and they said it was going to be the end of the Owens Valley. The water never made it here, ever. So all of this stuff is out there, but what I don't appreciate is false information from people that live in other counties trying to tell us the way in which things are being managed here. Thanks.
Okay, real quick. So, because I double checked at the beginning of the year, I double checked with my references. By early 2024, California was largely drought free. Last year, we didn't have rain. So, prior to that, we had been in a very long drought. We'd gotten a lot of rain, and we had officially gotten out of the drought. So I will cede that point. The other thing that I want to say...
Can you show us those references? Because I've never heard of coming out of a 10-year drought.
We always in drought.
Okay, if I could, early 2024, between January and April, California was largely drought-free statewide, with 0% of the area in droughts as of late March. This followed strong winter rains and snowpack measuring 110% of historical averages by April 4th, ending
Do you mind
1,000.
putting your link at your
Yeah,
reference?
please put the link in, because I'll put in a link in that shows that we were in the D1 drought.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, I can definitely prove we were in the D1 drought.
Wait,
Thank you.
Okay, if I could for a second, I don't know why you guys are getting angry. All I did was go into Brock and
You were asking for facts. Thank you.
Nobody's angry.
I'm giving them to you. So I asked Brock, was California in a drought in 2024? So if somebody would go, listen, this is the quickest.
No, she's right. She's right.
I love you. Come on.
Can I please finish? Like, this is my, I go on and on because you guys don't let me finish. I really only have 3 points. And if you just let me finish, then we can move on. So, like I said, we were not in a drought, but we had come out of a 1,332 day.
Yes, correct.
And so that is correct. That is a fact. Okay, if I could just finish.
I'm gonna help you out.
2024.
For God's sakes, let her finish, please. Thank
You
you.
let her finish and then help, because she's actually right, but go ahead.
Okay, so by mid-2024, conditions remained mostly normal to abnormally dry in isolated areas. By late 2024, a slow start to the rainy season led to drought expansion. By November 14th, it was abnormally dry. So you guys are right in that at the time of the fire, there was a drought. But in general, by 2024, we were all celebrating because of the long drought. We had more snowpack and our lakes had filled up. We were very happy about that. I also, just FYI, I was born in Los Angeles. I was raised in Lancaster, California, and now I live in Temecula, California. The other thing that I wanted to say in regards to what happened in the fires, I was not there. And I'm very sorry for the people who experienced frustrations with going through that. I don't want to talk to you guys like you're just, like you just don't matter, like you're just like fodder for a debate. I am sorry for what you're going through. So in Los Angeles, where
for real?
The Santa Ynez Reservoir in Pacific Palisades, with a capacity of 117 million gallons, was reportedly empty at the time, and that's according to CBS News 2.
It was under repair. We knew about that.
Okay, so, and then finally, in regards to Republican people registering for Republican in California counties, I just wanted to say, so for between February 24 and February 25, GOP registrants, because California has to report, it doesn't have to report, like, I don't think in real time, but they do have to report. So GOP registrants as of February 2025, in Los Angeles County, I was wrong. They had a net gain of 83,552 new registered Republicans. In Orange County, 38,101. San Diego, 31,875.
Thank you, Pill. 30 seconds, please. Thank you.
They don't like those facts.
Okay, Riverside, 33,709. And these are all California. This is from California elections data. San Bernardino, 30,000. Sacramento, 15,000. Santa Clara, 12,000. So thank you.
Killed y'all ass.
I want you to be clear though. Like you got to be real clear on this, right? Yes, there has been an uptake in Republicans in Los Angeles County. However, when you look at the grand scheme, right, 30,000 compared to how many
people is there?
You're right. How many people, and compared to how many actual Democrats? This is predominantly a Democratic county. When I say predominantly, I mean like 80%. So maybe y'all can't.
Hey, Jasmine. Yes, I'd love to speak with you. Hope you're having a pleasant evening.
Being defensive, note the change and maybe look into it.
No, because we got a lot of people that need to move.
And no. Right now, just so y'all know, right now, Los Angeles County is in a drought, and a severe drought. It's actually a D2 drought. We're always in a fucking drought.
We're always in a drought, and there is a lot of Californians that hate living here, you guys, because they cannot afford it, and they need to move to Texas. Go ahead and move. Get out of here.
Go ahead, Trent. I know you've been getting in there. Go ahead, man.
Tell us about the aliens, friend. Tell us about the aliens.
Hey, guys. Y'all want to talk about aliens? We talk about aliens.
Please leave your message for 773-517-5431.
Hey, Jasmine, it's John. You texted me. You said you wanted me to speak, so I'm speaking. Call me back or text me. Hope you're having a good night. Bye.
My mother had with no fucking insurance. Y'all just go to
and
Texas.
And then driving off and pulling away.
That's where the losers are.
Right, go to Texas, Arizona.
Get the fuck out. I'm in badass LA traffic right now. If y'all don't get the fuck out so I can drive.
Crazy. I almost got sideswiped to my girlfriend's car. Y'all need to get the fuck up out of California.
Get out.
If it's so horrible,
Get the fuck out.
Leave.
Listen, Gemini and Lisa, okay? I'm at the beach looking at the water.
Hello?
I'm in traffic, and this look like a parking lot on the freeway right now.
Right, where are you at, Trent? Go ahead, tell us where you're at.
I'm on the border in Mission, Texas.
One guy out there, some superhero.
Well, they maintained it all those years. Was Jack
in the terms of
oh yeah,
I think he's the only guy.
Right.
Do we know of anybody else?
Well, that might not be public.
Right.
You know. What about the rumors? The idea that the drought.
I thought this is where the wineries are.
That's the desert. For real. Temecula's a desert.
We cut down the brush. We have beautiful wineries, and we don't get a lot of.
They have a great balloon. It's hot as hell in the.
Please allow Trent to finish one and all.
Trent, please give us your wonderful submission, sir.
I am, my boy. Shout out to them Dodgers. It was a game and a half up. Look, the reality is the net 80,000 in Los Angeles County is a drop in the bucket. It's not changing shit. Because, to everybody else's point, so many Republicans are moving out of the state in coming to Texas and Arizona and Florida and other places. So while there are some small gains, the idea that California is going to flip blue isn't anything, right? And so, but here's what I will say to defend you a little bit, because I see where you're going with this point. And this is what I would caution before you get, especially my friends on the liberal side, before you get too high and mighty. When we had Hurricane Harvey in Houston, the county was Republican and the surrounding counties were all Republican. Post that disaster, and this happens a lot after major disasters, the county shift blue. Now we have Hidalgo in Houston who is a Democrat in charge. The county flipped because of the anger and the way the situation was handled. So can it happen in certain pockets? Absolutely. The entire state, highly unlikely. All I wanted to say, and let Sue talk shit. She knows more about California than most of y'all. Take care.
Did he just leave again?
That's why I be ready to throw his ass off the stage mid-sentence. I'm doing that next time just so he can't do that shit.
Go ahead, jump in, Sue. We want to hear from you.
All right, Lisa, I'm telling you, I'm going to throw him off mid-sentence next time just so he can't do his little grand exit.
Exactly. But he does that in everybody's room. I was in a room with him the other day.
That is so annoying.
That shit annoying as fuck. Go ahead. Who was about to talk, Sue?
No, I wasn't, but that is so annoying.
Yeah, that shit is annoying as fuck.
It's really annoying.
Because we can't respond to anything that he says, so it just leaves us here trying to figure out what he meant was going with.
Right. There's no explanation, no further. Like, let's keep moving so we don't even center that.
Okay, so how did we get on this? I don't even know how we got on California. But
because Pink Pill left the
Pink Pill came in here and gave us all those wonderful statistics.
Yeah, she left the left.
Do y'all know how many people is in LA County, just for a reference?
Oh, millions.
9 million, almost 10 million. 9.6 million people. 30,000 is not shit.
Right.
Okay, so let's try to recenter ourselves here. I was trying to remember how we even got there. It's just really weird. I'm just blanked out completely. Okay.
Can somebody bring up Aram?
Sure, Aram. Let me see. All right. So they're talking about shutting down the government. I think we have another till the 30th, I believe. And the conversation that Lemon was having with Cory Booker.
Can somebody mod your honor? I'm driving. Can somebody mod your honor?
You please.
Yeah, I didn't see you guys. I'm sorry. Hold on.
No,
I left, but I looking up shit. Okay, so there you go. So Cory Booker was saying that they won't even talk about, they won't even have discussions with the left. So I don't know how you guys feel about the government shutting down and the benefits or the disadvantages of it. We can talk about that if you want. Could you give us some
details on that, please, if you don't mind?
Oh, I can redo this clip because it's very interesting.
Okay,
and I was telling you guys to listen because it was very interesting what Don Lemon and Cory Booker were talking about. Cory Booker's gained a lot of weight. I don't know what's going on with him, but anyway, hold on.
That's because he's engaged and happy.
I'm saying the same thing. I'm engaged.
Yep, he's engaged and happy.
Wow. Well, he needs to get a little bit fatter. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me find it. He's just a little bit too plump for me.
I agree.
All right. So we were listening to. There we are.
He gained that weight when he didn't pee for 3 days.
That was funny, right? When he stood up there, and we don't. Let me give Cory back his credit. Let me put my crown. It takes a lot to sit up there and talk that long.
Man, with an adult diaper on. Go ahead, bro.
Damn. Okay, hold on, y'all. It's coming. YouTube, Cory, Don Lemon. Here we go. Hold on. And it's just a hot mess. And then we were going to go and listen to the critique that they had. Trump literally embarrassed y'all in front of the world. In front of the world. I mean, just literally, whoo, Jesus. You talking about 2 steps forward and 100 150 cents backwards. He literally embarrassed us in front of the world. We have lost credibility all over the world with that shit at the UN, that speech he gave.
He said the world never respected the United States more. We've never been in a better economy. We've never had better pricing than right now. So don't do that.
And then I got this article that I was reading yesterday, how the CEOs are even scared to speak up about how horrible the economy is. They're scared. Literally saying words like fear. Okay, here it is. Let me turn it up.
Convention. So it's the two.
Wait, somebody else is talking. Hold on for a second. Too many people. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, I gotta put that on hold.
My understanding is that the president agreed to a meeting with Democratic leaders and then canceled it. Yeah, stunningly. Are we going to shut down? Look, how do you... There's no way to get this bill done. They control the House, the Senate, and the White House. But the only way to get through the Senate is by getting at least 7 Democratic votes. I'm not going to give my vote away without them doing something in terms of negotiation or compromise. And what a Democrat's asking for is do something about the tens of millions of Americans who are seeing their costs go up, their health care become more expensive, or losing their health care.
So maybe
because of the things that you've done. Donald Trump has been in office for 9 months. America is poorer and America is sicker or has less access to health care. So I've never seen like this. The other side won't even talk or engage with us, even though there's only one way to get this done is it together. So for Donald Trump to cancel a meeting, for the Speaker of the House of Representatives to dismiss the House, to send them out on recess until after the shutdown date is just stunning to me. And it shows me that they want to drive our country into a government shutdown. What's the point? What is the point? I don't understand. I mean, they have succeeded in bullying their way, stealing power. We see case after case going up to the Supreme Court because Donald Trump is being an authoritarian executive. He doesn't believe he's president. It seems like he's trying to be all the constitutional power to himself. This is the process. You have both sides of both Article 1 and Article 2 branch have to do it together. But he want to do it his way or no way. And that's what the problem is. He's got to be willing to negotiate.
I'm glad you mentioned Article 1. I saw Hillary Clinton on a morning show this morning discussing that, and it was a very interesting conversation. She said everyone should get pins that says Article 1 and see if the Republicans wear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I'll be honest. I have private conversations with Republican colleagues sometimes where they point out that what they're seeing the executive do is not right. I've heard comments about the tariffs and the pain they're causing customers. I've seen them comment about excess not being qualified, or that you signal out, put out on a commercial app battle plan.
But not in public. They won't say it.
But that's the point. They're not doing it in public. They're not calling hearings. They're not doing the job of checks and balances or oversight of the executive. And so if you're basically saying Article 1 will do nothing to check the presidency, you are literally undermining our constitutional framework and turning him in de facto into more powerful, demagogic, authoritarian leader. And so I know this. Jefferson said it so powerfully around the founding of our country. When the people are afraid of their government, there is tyranny. When the government is afraid of the people, there's liberty. Well, what happens when senators are more afraid of their government, their president, than they are of the people they represent?
Yeah.
That's the problem we have right now.
Yeah. The Affordable Care Act, the tax credits, I hear that is a sticking point. Democrats want that in there, and Republicans are saying no. Is that the main sticking point or a major sticking point?
I'll be honest with you. I'm not giving my vote away for free. Do something on health care. There's a lot going on. You have these looming Medicaid cuts that they conveniently pushed out till right beyond the elections. Well, those are going to hurt millions of Americans. You made other cuts to health care before you even get to the Affordable Care Act. Will you restore those? Will you fix the Affordable Care Act? There's a lot of things that could be on the table, but we aren't even at the table. Donald Trump is refusing to sit down with us at a negotiating table. The leaders of the House and Senate are refusing to sit down with us. That's the thing that's surprising me. I've been here for 13 years, and when we do budgets, we do them in a bipartisan fashion. We have passed 3 bipartisan budget bills out of the Senate. They haven't gone anywhere else, but we've shown that we have the wherewithal to do bipartisan budgets. The American people should not see their government shut down. But this president and the Speaker of the House, by their actions this past week, seem determined to do just that.
Okay, so what do you guys think so far? They're not even trying to talk to the Democrats. So what do you guys think?
So I have a thought related to his UN appearance, and I think it connects back to this story with not meeting with them. So there was a story that came out in the Times. Trump strikes radically different tones in public and in private. So we all know what he said, at the United Nations, and he talked so tough, blah, blah, blah. But it says, in the decades since Trump burst onto the political scene, world leaders have learned to use have gotten used to the two versions of the American president. There's the public one who shows up in speeches, social media, and the private in-person one who's often conflict averse, eager to accommodate in one-on-one or smaller conversations. So, wait, let me get to this quote of what he said. Okay. Hold on. One European diplomat with a seat at the Security Council said that colleagues were trying to engage with Mr. Trump on points where they spotted willingness to address various threats. They lined up afterward to secure one-on-one meetings with him. In the speech, he talked about, I've negotiated so many peace deals. So when he met with the UN Secretary General, what the Secretary General told him was, you've selected peace as a central objective, and you've been going north and south, east and west, in all possible situations, getting or trying to get ceasefires, alleviating tensions, making peace agreements, or building the blocks of peace agreements. So then he comes out of the meeting and he says, I may disagree with it sometimes, but I'm also so behind it, talking about behind the UN. And he came out saying forever, the Ukraine has to give up land for peace. And then he came out of the UN saying, actually, no, they shouldn't give up any land and we have to respect their sovereignty. And so, when they met with different leaders, like one of the leaders was saying, Trump is absolutely right. We're on it. Okay. And then, he met with, and then in Kamala Harris's book, she talks about when she called him to, after he got shot in the ear, she called him to check on him. And in the book, she says, he told her, you've done a great job. You really have. My only problem is it makes it very hard for me to be angry at you. It's like, what am I going to do? How do I say bad things about you now? And she wrote in her book about this, he's a con man. He's really good at it. I'd readied myself for a phone conversation with Mr. Hyde, but Dr. Jekyll picked up instead. So anyway, my point in saying this is like all these world leaders have figured out, and then they applauded like his crazy UN speech. So these world leaders have all figured out, you've got to cozy up to his ego, tell him what he wants to hear. Oh yes, Mr. Trump. Absolutely, Mr. Trump. And that's how you kind of butter him up. And then if he feels like he's getting the respect he deserves, you can work with him, right? Whereas if you take a tougher approach, now he thinks you've disrespected him and you can't get anything out of him. But just to bring it back to what the topic, the difficulty here is that that's fine for world leaders, maybe even people in his own party. But the Democrats, by virtue of their job, they're literally the opposition party. They don't have the option to go out there and say, actually, Mr. Trump this, and he does care, and he's great. So they can't play that game. So therefore, with his fucking ego, they can't get anything from him because they can't play this game that other people are playing.
Anybody else want to add to this?
Yeah, he's basically, imagine a 3-year-old who's picked up a loaded weapon. The 3-year-old lacks judgment. And is kind of nuts. But they're holding a loaded gun, right? So you're going to kind of do whatever you have to do to survive the situation because it's clearly dangerous and there's a lot of power. that this 3-year-old has, but they're not even really sure what they're wielding or how they want to wield it. You know, all the different impulses that a 3-year-old has at any given moment. So, you know, 1 second they might be focused, another second they're not. One moment they're excited and happy, the next one is throwing a tanty. And that's basically what we're dealing with right now. There's no art of the deal, right? There's no negotiation to be had because the man doesn't even have a principled stance as to what he wants. Like, there's no modulation like, well, we can reduce our demands this much to find a compromise. Because it's just not even about those kinds of details. Like, he does not care. So, you know, Democrats are in a tough spot where essentially they have to shut down the government. And the Republicans may very well want it in the short term because that's what, you know, the 3-year-old with the loaded gun wants. And they're just as afraid of the 3-year-old with the loaded gun as anyone else. You know, they're just kind of hiding in the corners hoping that they're, you know, out of the firing lane or whatever. Whereas the Democrats have to do something about it because, you know, their people are the ones who are most likely to get shot. And so, like, I think the government probably is going to shut down because I don't see any other off-ramp that could possibly happen. And the idea of the Democrats just capitulating for the second time, mind you, why would they do that? Like, so they can look even more feckless and weak? Like, it looked terrible the last time. And the other thing is the worst thing about last time, right, actually wasn't that they decided to not shut down the government. The worst thing that they did last time was they had no strategy until, like, it was like 48 hours before that Schumer started to shift his opinion from, oh, we're never going to give in, to, hey, everyone, we really got to give in. And so instead of the story being about the Republicans and, you know, their intransigence and their malfeasance and all this shit, it became about Schumer being a punk.
Let's do it. Let's get it.
Okay, we're going to get this. I'm going to stop it. It's not that long. Dr. Carr just goes into just highlighting just the craziest shit that happens, stuff that I even missed. So let me see if it's okay. I haven't vetted it.
African Heritage Day. If you want to give a look into that, today's a day where South Africans are encouraged to celebrate their culture and the diversity and traditions in a wider context of a nation that belongs to all of its people. So shout out to them. If you're from there, I know we got a listener in the building who's a South African national. Shout out to you. Yes, and good to see you, Dr. Carr. It's a good word. How you feeling? All right. How you doing? I'm coolin', man. Just waiting on these Epstein.
Shaka Day, it used to. Well, Shaka Day is what it used to be known as in South Africa. Okay. South Africa is a wonderful example of how African people, having overcome this minority rule, have, rather than exact revenge, overwhelmed white nationalism with a sense of our common humanity. Their national holidays often reach into their memory and restore some sense of collective memory. So, like you said today, Heritage Day, drawing from Shaka Day, which is, of course, the Zulu people, one of the Nguni language speaking groups with the Sotho and the Swana and the Xhosa there, and so that brings them in. Youth Day is actually the day in July which marks they observe the date that the South African white minority police attacked and killed young people in Soweto. They take the day of the Sharpeville massacre and turn that into a national holiday. And I mean, it's just you know, a nice exercise in how you really do try to create rituals that bring everybody in. Their anthem, of course, because the Sigilele Africa is a hymn, an original hymn that was turned into a resistance song, and they integrated it into their national anthem. Of course, they kept a stanza from the Afrikaner language speakers, which makes it a kind of unwieldy anthem as far as I'm concerned. The gesture, I think, that speaks to the attempt to build something different. You know, the same spirit that caused 80 years ago the countries of the world to come together to form Francisco in 1945, the United Nations. That was one animating spirit. Of course, the main animating spirit for the West was trying to build a structure that could keep them in charge for another few years, and that has worked for them too, at least in a general sense. But I must say, not only happy 80th birthday to the United Nations, but shout out to Bozo. Yeah. Bozo showed his ass cheeks in a way yesterday that I think set a new standard. A new global standard. I mean, I just, I know we have some audio of Bozo's speech, but in order to really enjoy it, this rambling that took over an hour, just about an hour, generally each world leader or their representative is allowed around 10 minutes. They don't cut people off. After all, it is the United Nations, but Bo spoke for about an hour yesterday, and it was magnificent. In fact, this morning, overnight, Jonathan Lemire and Missy Ryan writing in the Atlantic, the first sentence in the article Trump did, the United Nations to mock him now, is the world laughed at Donald Trump.
Do you think he noticed? Do you think he notices when the world?
Here's the thing. We were talking about this just before we went live. I think we are closer than ever to the 25th Amendment, and I'm not saying that because any of Trump's lackeys. I mean, looking at little Marco yesterday at the United Nations, his face more and more a mask, as he certainly knows that the history books will certainly write him down as a purebred lackey. But in real time, he will live, it seems to me, to see his utter humiliation, not only on the global stage, but on the domestic stage as well. He won't ever be president, little Marco. But I think he's oblivious.
Yeah.
I think it's very. I mean, he's more and more sitting in the White House when he does have meetings. He doesn't have many meetings. He's never had many meetings, but he has fewer than ever now. He can't walk in a straight line. He is clearly just unwell. He appears unwell anyway.
Right. Yeah.
And this move against Jimmy Kimmel with his, how can you be a lapdog and a lord and master at the same time, but that nasty piece of work at the Federal Communications Brendan Carr is, I think this might have been the thing that tipped them over. Because even the hillbilly horde realizes that they could be next. In fact, they may be in the crosshairs. We saw Ted Cruz with his bad mob boss impressions, and Joe Rogan has finally crawled out of his spider hole to speak. Now that it appears that it might be safe to actually criticize this administration, at least around the First Amendment, but their signing pen is leaking ink. I mean, so I don't know. If you listen to the whole speech yesterday, you will hear a man who is not only unwell, this is a guy at this point you might have to, sit down, have to replace. Because this dude, man, if y'all, I mean, I know we got some sound.
Yeah, we can jump sound. Yeah, we can jump in. Here he actually he's speaking to the people who he's questioning. Clip 4.
I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous potential, but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war.
Yeah, that was perhaps one of, if not the most coherent. Do we have clip 6? No, not clip 6. I'm sorry, Daryl. Let's go with clip 7. This was a particularly feisty moment for Bozo.
When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did. They repaid kindness with crime. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. once we started detaining and deporting everyone who crossed the border and removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore.
Yeah, Bo is off the chain. Yeah, he definitely told these people, all these sitting prime ministers and former, your country's going to hell. But I love this line. It's really something that probably should be. It'll probably be on T-shirts soon. Maybe even White House, T-shirts. I'm really good at this stuff. Bozo said, in this ramble, Bozo said he stopped 7 wars. I mean, you can see people literally grimacing, and then there's he said his numbers, millions of lives. His poll numbers are the highest they've ever been. They're actually the lowest and going down. And by the way, parenthetically, about 32% of those eligible to vote in the United States of America voted for Donald Trump. 62% of those who were eligible to vote actually participated in the election. So y'all can stop talking about the Republicans won. The majority. Yeah. About a third of the people who could vote voted for MAGA. Okay, so y'all can stop that. But see, this was not the United States of America Bozo was talking to yesterday. It was the world. The world, yeah. And even as he denied visas to a number of people, and even as the rest of the speakers, and if you watch what they call the general debates, you can look at it on the UN website, you can find it on YouTube. Protocol, kind of informal protocol suggests that Brazil speak first. And so Brazil, they volunteered to speak first at one of the earliest General Assembly meetings, so they've been given pride of place. So Lula da Silva spoke first yesterday. If you all go into the UN website or YouTube or something, you can see Lula's remarks, which were about 13 minutes, if memory serves me correctly. It was very balanced. He slapped the ish out of the United States of America around the conviction of the previous president. He talked about trade and trying to use things. He stood up for Venezuela. So y'all out here patrolling, and no, you can't deny you stop a drug trade. And then Bo came, because typically the host nation will speak second. There have been a couple of times when the General Assembly and the General Debate was held in Geneva, but generally it's in New York. Note, of course, that Mahmoud Abbas, or the Palestinian Authority, was not issued a visa. So he was not able to speak in person. He won't be able to speak in person. But of course, they had a 2-day summit prior to the opening of the General Assembly and the General Debate this week, at which France, England, a couple of countries recognized the Palestinian state. It's not stopping the international killer, Bibi Netanyahu, was continuing to wage war through his Israeli Defense Forces. But it's pretty clear now that the entire world, as Dr. King might say, the whole world, is against Israel and the United States on this issue of slaughter. But Bo was really unhinged. Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, spoke yesterday. I think Tinubu, or his representative, Tinubu's not coming from Nigeria. His second in command is speaking, I think, today, this afternoon. But generally speaking, it's really something to hear these delusions coming from Donald. When you hear his voice, it reminds me of when you're in the shower and you're trying to get yourself ready for work, and you're talking out loud, but you're in a room full of people. You're in a room full of people who you're talking about. Now, unhinged doesn't even really give it that's an understatement. Unhinged is an understatement when you hear his voice. I think you may be on to something. Loopy. Loopy. What you said before. Yeah, he's definitely loopy. He's definitely loopy. I hesitate to say this, but I'll say it anyway, only because you never know in a climate like this when the dawn breaks. But as we are students of history, it could very well be, if the species survives, that we will look back and say we have reached perhaps the breaking point for Bozo and his crew, which is why they've been acting so much more desperately. The attempted removal of Jimmy Kimmel, which if everyone remembers who listens to Urban View Mornings, we talked about last year when ABC bent the knee and made that completely indefensible concession of giving him those millions, which he brought up this week, when they should have gone to court and broken his legal back. Well, moving against Kimmel, which of course is Project 2025 through and through, the nasty piece of work, Brendan Carr's wet dream. This may have been the overreach that causes the fever to break. Yeah. Because there are people who were
them who aren't with this, and by this I mean the overreach on free speech, or what they think is so-called free speech. And so they're like, wait a minute, like you said, if you cover him, then who's safe on either side? And so even with
on any side,
any side,
I'm afraid of it as a duopoly, as a binary. They're crazy, and they've been crazy, and they've never had a majority of the people. And Disney backs the F up because the longer this remained an issue for Disney, they're not out of the woods yet. Their stock dropped. People canceling Hulu and Disney Plus.
So they had a major campaign weekend for people canceling. They had instructions and everything, and I think that hemorrhage of subscriptions leaving had a lot to do with their decision to try to attempt to rectify or reconcile by inviting them back. But what they still didn't fix was the partnerships with Nexstar and Sinclair, who said, well, just because he's back, we still preempt in many of our markets, and one of the markets being here. So he came back last night, and it wasn't even shown here in the DC area, in the DC market.
Did you watch the whole monologue?
I did not. I didn't get a chance to.
Okay, I watched it, and his writers did a superb job. One of the things he addressed is very interesting. At the very end of the monologue, he said, well, Disney has a statement that they'd like me to read. He reaches into his pocket for a folded piece of paper, which may or may not have had anything on it. I think it was for effect or anything. And then he read instructions for rejoining Disney Plus and Hulu to the laughter of the crowd. He did mention that among the places that Nexstar and what's the other one? Sinclair have said they're not going to run the show, were his wife's hometown. I think she's from St. Louis. His mother-in-law, and he apologized. He said, I guess you'll have to go to YouTube. As of the time we went to air this morning at 7 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States, there were over 5 million views on YouTube. And then he went on to, it was a master class. Really, it was the defense of the First Amendment. I thought the cameo appearance of Robert De Niro in the role of Brendan Carr was hilarious. He brought in him to be the new mob boss appointed at the FCC. This is after he slapped the ish out of Brendan Carr. Maybe we have a clip on that. Maybe we'll play that in a second. But directly to your point as it relates to Nexstar and Sinclair, the white nationalists, and I just want to pause here and lift them up and thank them for revealing to people who may not have been paying attention. And by the way, Bob Reif on his Instagram, not his Instagram, we kind of thing on his Substack, goes under a headline, "The Sleeping Giant is Awakening." I think may have it right when he says that he's been a professor and an academic and a policymaker for over 60 years, and he's saying this may be the moment when people start paying attention. But I want to thank Nexstar. I'm sorry, I don't just think, I keep messing them up because they're the same in my mind. Sinclair, and what's the other one?
Nexstar and Sinclair is the two.
Nexstar and Sinclair. I'd like to thank them because they're overreach. They're white nationalists overreach. People like John Oliver have been on them for years. You know, we've seen that commercial where they all say the same thing in their editorials. Well, you've reached your limit, my friend. And while people won't cancel the local affiliates, I think your attempt to quadruple down on this imaginary white silent majority, one that is clearly not expressed in electoral politics, and maybe later in the show we'll talk about the Arizona seat that the Democrats retained overnight in an election, special election out there. Now the margin is down to 2 in the federal legislature in terms of the MAGA Muppets' ability to block legislation if all the Democrats vote in the same way. But they won't play their hands. And there is, after all, there are many other options other than watching your local television network.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think, as Kimmel said last night, the president, after playing a clip of Bozo saying his numbers are terrible, Kimmel replied, not tonight.
Yeah, no,
So,
all right, we got
my friend.
Let's play clip 10.
Think about it. If Ted Cruz can't speak freely, then he can't cast spells on the Smurfs. I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects. Some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it. And for telling their followers that our government cannot be allowed to control what we do and do not say on television, and that we have to stand up to it.
His writers. Oh, okay, I thought it was. Yeah, that was his writers did. It was very interesting. I mean, he thanked obviously the people who stood for him first, of course, Colbert and them, you know, and then he thanked a broader range of people, and then he thanked the people he was with. Mm-hmm. He name checked Candace Owens. He name checked. It was very interesting to see. And then, of course, he thanked the general public. Basically, what Kimmel's writers did yesterday, last night, was curate an army through the proxy of the First Amendment to slam these guys. This is the thing where I think the Project 2025 crowd, the religious ideologues, he name checked, of course, the Runt Rooster over at the Pentagon, of course, about Pete Hegseth, who is now telling people not to answer reported questions about general information, not even declassified or unclassified information, not to give them information. Basically, what he did last night was curate people in a way to create a situation where you're revealing these people for exactly who they are. That's a collection of bigots, religious ideologues, and lustful billionaires. And that's not going to bode well for them in the continuing electoral cycle. And I saw Kimmel and them do a great job last night. It was masterclass, and it's not going to go away either. And I think for him, what they did was the unintended consequences. It's kind of a reset for him. This is a starting point for if you weren't checking for Kimmel, now you are, or now you're back to, and it gives him a chance to do. I feel like push the envelope even more. Even though it got emotional and some of it was a bit of an apology regarding specifically the comments he made about the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk. Can we play? I'm not sure it was an apology. You want to play that clip? Yeah, 13. Yeah, let's hear it.
What I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point the finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way.
Exactly. I didn't hear an apology. Well, the tone was very apologetic, yes. I heard a clarification. I think every word in what he said was so carefully, precisely selected that he will hope that those who are against him, because they are feckless, deliberate misinterpreters of his intent and his sentiment, I think he hopes they will be persuaded to understand that they are incorrect. But the first line in that, I think, is the definitive line. If you like me, if you don't, you don't. Mm-hmm. But that having been said, let me offer you an olive branch. Because what he did was to go on and clarify what he said before. I said, I meant it then, I meant it now. I think everybody does. Nobody wants to see anyone be killed. And he goes on to talk about not supporting violence in any kind. It can't be done. Mm-hmm. I think the closest he may have come to a sense of apology might have been when he localized it about the shooter, which was, of course, the point of entry they used to misinterpret how he was going about what he said. And then he closed off with, if the roles were reversed, I would feel maybe I would have reacted the same way. What roles are those that may have been reversed? I think when specifically what he's saying is if someone had said what he said about someone that he followed. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So what does that say about whether or not he followed the rhetoric of Charles James Kirk? He did. Exactly. I think this language was so precise and well selected. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he went on to finish off that piece of work at the FCC where the card. Do we have that? Yeah, we got that too. We got 12. Yeah.
questions, or did I bore you to death?
No, that was good.
Come on, you guys, it's early. Jump in there. This is Cuckoo Cray out. Mike. Hi, Mike. I see you back on the stage. So what do you guys think about that? You loved it? Mike, you actually loved it?
No, I just said hi, but I have nothing to say to the truth.
Okay. All right. We can just move on to other news. Hi, everybody who's still left on the stage. That was a pretty big clip, but that pretty much was my whole sentiment about what happened at the UN with Donald Trump, and it also summarized what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. Did anybody actually see that? Because it was not in my market either.
I didn't see it live, but I seen it on YouTube.
Yeah, I need to go check it out. I need to really go check it out. So, are you disappointed that he's back, Mike?
I'm not disappointed that he's back. I mean, again, I think that was I still think that he was wrong by even broaching it. I think that most people that have been broaching this, and, you kind of pretty much know where the administration stands. But that being said, I do believe that, freedom of speech is important, no matter what side of the aisle you stand on. And
I love it.
Silence. But these are American tenets. So I'm not saying anything that's news or groundbreaking.
So you're saying that Trump was wrong? You're saying that they were wrong, period, for taking him off the air. I love it.
Well, Trump. Trump's hand is not in this. We have to, the.
Oh, it's not.
The chairman, if I could land my plane, the chairman of the FCC is the person that has to be held accountable for this ABC and their affiliates. I think that's the conversation that we should be having to try to politicize this and to constantly try to throw Trump under the bus. I just think it's interesting.
Come on, Trump told his FCC. Okay, somebody else jump in. I'm tired of hearing my.
Yeah, this is fucking stupid. First off, that man was appointed by Trump. First off, what are we doing? If your direct report does something, you're responsible for it. This kind of lack of accountability from the right will just forever tickle me. It is so funny.
What accountability do you? What accountability do you?
If you have a direct report and they do a thing, you are fundamentally responsible for what they've done. So if you don't like it, you can discipline him. You can tell him to do something different. You can throw him under the bus. You can make it clear that you believe something else. And of course, in fact, Donald Trump did none of those things. And if you read his dumbass Truth Socials, you'll see that he has also been talking shit about Jimmy Kimmel and all of this. So, the idea that he doesn't have his fingerprints all over this, and that he isn't the same person who talked about how much he hates his enemies and wishes them ill. He said that 48 hours ago, 96 hours ago. I don't know, it's not that long ago. We know who this man is. We know what he's doing. The only people who can violate the First Amendment in this way, literally are in the administration that he runs. That's what's going on here. What are we doing?
But yes, that being said,
Hey, Sandra, you got something you want to add to that, Sandra?
I was right in the middle of thinking about it.
I'll let y'all talk. I just
I'm not being overspoken. You gotta love the censorship.
You already spoke twice, Mike. You can wait a minute.
But Sandra didn't even come off mic, and I was just.
I did come off mic.
But you got it. You got it.
And I yielded to you.
You got it. Go ahead and then Mike, you go. Was that a bitch? Was that a bitch?
Who's gonna be a bitch?
I was talking about Mike. He was
y'all know exactly.
I was talking about Mike.
Top the cap. You know who's there. You know
Whatever. This administration does whatever they want to do. They can say all the horrible things they want. Somebody on the other side says anything even hinting at some shit, they lose their fucking minds. They are so full of shit. Like I said, it's time to burn this shit down. Y'all need to take the torches out.
Oh wow.
Can I say something? So
So now we want more violence.
Can I speak? Can I speak?
Some violence. Actually, yes, Mike. I'm ready for some violence.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
That was the order.
No, y'all keep ready. I'm ready.
Now we're going against you.
Malik is off. Malik is.
I love it.
You can hear me, right?
No, I was going up to stop you. That's what I thought about.
Please, Mike, I'd like to speak. Will you allow me to speak?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Jesus. So, during the Kimmel monologue, he posted a tweet that spoke very powerfully for free speech. And he said he agreed with it. Here's the tweet. Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech. It challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship. So that tweet is actually from Brendan Carr. He tweeted that in 2022 when Biden was president and he was the FCC chair. Now, what possibly could account for such an abrupt about turn of face from Brendan Carr, from saying political satire is an important form of speech and that's why it's targeted for censorship, but it must be protected, to saying we can do this the easy way or the hard way? What could it possibly be? I mean, I know it's not Trump's fault, so what could it be?
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, again, all of this, and of course, in this room, we won't ever even have a real conversation about it. But, well, I mean, people cut me off. I mean, I pretty much know how it goes. Let's get to the point, Mike. Get to the point. And again, we got multiple people coming off the mic.
Okay, no, back up, y'all, because I always Mike, no, y'all. Whew. Go ahead, Mike. The floor is yours. And everybody, we're going to talk about this. We're not going to have people saying we're cutting them off. I accidentally cut you off. I apologize. Everybody gets 30. Everybody gets, wait, hold up, Dab. I got this. Everybody gets 30 seconds. Everybody gets 30 seconds. So we can all get a chance to talk, because all of us want to talk about this. Go ahead, Mike. 30 seconds and you're on. Boom. Don't mean that you won't be able to get more, but boom, you're on. 30 seconds.
I mean, I just think it's interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, the Democratic Party and a lot of people that were on the left, I mean, they were the ones that really started cancel culture, deplatforming, and demonetizing platforms that they disagreed with. This happened all throughout the Obama years, the Biden years, and even through Trump's first term. And now that President Trump has become president, and now that he has a certain level of influence, and again, I don't necessarily agree with it, but these are how these things get to be. It's not just that Trump. I mean, people like to believe that that's what it is, but it wasn't the case. There were a lot of people, even when it comes to a lot of these social media platforms that were pro-left. That they snatched up a lot of people that were on the right, left, and right, and took away their livelihoods. And even at the point where we're talking about people on these late night talk shows who refuse to interview people on the right. I mean, you just really don't see it. And so, from people that are from the far right, they're looking at this situation and they're saying, I mean, it's drastically unfair that we continuously make fun of, mock, and ridicule and do hit jobs on the right. But we're never really pointing out the things that are happening with people on the left with their hands are caught in the cookie jar. It's just very interesting. But if we can't have that conversation because people are going to just deny, then, hey, it is what it is.
Nobody points things out about the left. Stunning.
Okay.
Stunningly stupid.
Again, you can call it stupid, or the conversation is there. So there you go.
I think your points. So my response to that, I fairly agree or wrong that there's been calls for deplatforming from the left, particularly when you're getting into arenas of dehumanizing people or hate speech. But let's not, split the atom. I agree with you. I think the difference here is when the full power of the executive branch of the federal government comes down to bear because you're criticizing that government. That is of a different order. And actually, free speech, it's not about nobody gets anything taken away for anything they've said. It's specifically related to persecution from the government. So that's why it's not really a one-to-one comparison.
Okay. Mike, anybody?
I think
Really be quiet though. Okay.
No, I think that that's an interesting point, and I can receive that. But however, again, when I asked the Democrats, and this is rhetorical now, what did you think was going to happen? And this is the thing that I think is very interesting, and I think that, again, no one really wants to have these conversations, but you went around for many years, you went along for many years doing whatever you wanted to do, and you just didn't think that there was going to be a clapback. You didn't think that the Republicans was going to get their lick off. You didn't think that they was going to try to get back, or, again, all of the years of being the platform, not being invited to these shows, the continuous ways in which you went against them, but you didn't go against your own. What did you think was going to happen?
This is just
I know it hurts, but hey, it is what it is.
Well, actually,
Malak, why are you talking over me? I understand why the dumbass is talking over me, but you don't need to talk over me.
You're a dumbass.
Like, the stunning stupidity of this, first off, cancel culture in the U.S. is as old as the fucking Salem witch trials. Like, it predates the country. Like, this is a thing that's been going on for forever. McCarthyism is a form of cancel culture, right? Like this goes on and on and on. There was all kinds of stuff going on with all the bullshit with, the rise of the right, this was the new conservative right that started in the 70s, following civil rights, and continued on from there with, all kinds of people like Jerry Falwell constantly calling for people to be deplatformed and so on and so forth. Like, this is not something that is new at all. And frankly, at the end of the day, these are people saying, I don't believe this person should have a platform, which is a totally reasonable thing to say. I don't think Richard Spencer should have a platform. I don't think Charlie Kirk's best bud, Jack Posobiec, should be platforming white nationalists all the time and then palling it up with the rest of TPUSA. I think it's weird. I think it's weird that Turning Point USA had both Jack Posobiec, who around with these virulent white nationalists, and also Candace Owens at the same time. Like, what a weird place that is. Weird. And the idea that these people have been given a platform as if they're part of certain normal society, I disagree with that. Do I think I'm going to go out of my way to try to cancel them? No, but I don't think they should have a platform at all. Absolutely not. That's not a big deal. There's people on the right who think that people who are too left-wing, shouldn't have a platform either. Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, we disagree. See who wins. Particularly in today's media environment, it doesn't even matter anyway, because there's so few shared platforms at this point, it doesn't even matter regardless. But this idea, once again, of the Republicans shirking all responsibility, because it's like, oh, we're not acting improperly, all we're doing is responding to the other side, is the most childish, dumb shit I've ever heard. Like, I see 8-year-olds and 6-year-olds have these kinds of fights. Well, I'm not responsible. He hit me first. What do you say to kids when they do that? That doesn't matter. You're responsible for yourself and your own reactions. Like, this is child shit. This is like literally stuff that you should have learned well by 4th or 5th grade. And they're out here trying to act like that's an actual political approach right now. It is embarrassing.
It can't be childish, and again, I think we need to move the mics around. But I don't think it is.
Oh, honey.
It can't be childish because again, it's when it serves your best interest, and when most of the media, especially on a national level, is left leaning, and again, you're not inviting people on the right. Once upon a time there was a point where that was happening, but it ended, especially with the emergence of Trump. Then all of a sudden, then it's childish when that party decides when they have power that they're going to squeeze it. They're going to squeeze it to you the same way that you guys stuck it to them. And see, but again, if we're not willing to have that conversation, and we don't want to be fair and balanced, and when you want to just invite all of your political friends, but none of your political detractors, that's where the censorship, that's where the cancel culture, that's where the deplatforming, and ultimately that's where the lack of freedom of speech sort of, comes into play. And so I just don't understand how people are convincing themselves that you can kind of go along and do all of that, and then you don't expect your political detractors, especially once they have power, to not respond in any way, shape, or form. Not that I'm saying that I agree with it, but what did you expect when you set that narrative?
I don't agree with it, but I'm here to defend it vehemently.
I'm not defending it vehemently. Man, wait, no, I'm not defending it. Don't. Well,
Please,
but I don't want you to lie. I don't want you to lie on it.
Well, then you can respond when I'm finished.
Yeah. Right, but don't put it out with lies. Why are we starting with lies?
You can respond when I'm done.
Okay, well, don't lie.
So no. Come on, Mike. Be fair, because I allowed you to speak.
But she's lying. I don't like when people start lying.
So you're not defending their behavior.
But when she's done, I mean, really, because I want to jump in too, but I'm going to allow. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll keep it brief. Thank you.
No, you don't have to keep it brief because he's supposed to go in here.
Okay, thank you. The thing is you cannot compare the behavior of a talk show host, a late night talk show host, to the behavior of the President of the United States and his lackeys. There are different orders of responsibility there. So the comparison didn't work. If you want to make a comparison of, well, the left did it, then you should be talking about how the Obama administration went after Fox News. But, oh, wait, that didn't happen.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, and when did a sitting president wrangle to try to get a talk show host off the air? Literally.
Never.
Because he keeps saying now it's going to happen to you because it happened to us, and y'all should have known that we were going to clap back. I mean, the things that this guy is doing in the name of vengeance and retribution is absolute. When was the last time we had a president who's just set up and just started going after everybody who didn't like him? Let's find that quote when he said, if they say something bad about me, then maybe we should have them taken off the air, or maybe we should have the show canceled. Let me go find that quote, because I have never, we can go quote to quote. Tell me what president in the history of time has ever done that in the United States.
No, I mean, I don't necessarily recall, but what I would tell you, but what I would say is this, again, and I don't agree. I think
you said going back, and we were going to get ours.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, I think that the president has more, pressing issues than to just go after Jimmy Kimmel.
You damn right.
But what I will say is that, again, when you have multiple people on one particular side of the aisle that are experiencing a certain level of comfort as far as being on these talk shows, the way that they're covered, the way that they're spoken to, the way that they're invited, and you have the other side, again, the reaction beyond just what Donald Trump is doing, but even just, again, with the many people that have sharing those same sentiments and ideas, I just don't know why people are surprised. You can't play it unfair one day and then you want it fair for you the other day. And I think that people that are on the left, they sort of have a problem with that.
Yeah, you provided no example. You provided no example.
It's not about providing an example.
You provided zero examples.
There were many people that were on
what
the
you're
right that
talking
were
about. There was not actually.
There were many different people that were demonetized. There were many different people that weren't invited. There were many people that weren't. There weren't many people that were not invited and still are not invited to these shows.
Not invited.
It's just again that is a form of censorship.
These are private.
I want to be invited. Oh my God! I just.
But again, now that the right is doing what they're doing, now y'all are crying.
It's stunning. It's not. But see what you don't understand.
Everybody's doing the same
thing. This is what's wrong with you, Mike. Let me explain to you. And Malak already gave it to you once, so you shouldn't need to hear this again. There is a distinct difference between a private company, right, deciding that they don't want to have you on their TV show, and there's a difference between that and the government saying if you don't get rid of that person, you're going to have a very hard time. Those two things are not the same. They are not like. There is a reason why the founders treated them differently, and you don't seem to understand that, which should embarrass you, but it doesn't.
One of the things that's starting to me is like the speech that was on Twitter, that got so-called canceled, oftentimes came from groups that were extensions of the KKK. What a bad history there, right? And in groups that directly advocated violence upon cultures, marginalized cultures, right, and people. And when you flip it around, the inverse, you don't see that with Kimmel on stage, or you don't see that with people advocating for the rights, or people advocating against governance going too far. You know what I'm saying? So really, that, like Malak was saying, there really isn't a strong equilibrium here.
This is the thing, is that these people have so lost the plot of like what actually makes this country great and what actually, leads to this country realizing its highest ideals. They've so detached from that at this point that they don't even see the most basic elements of it. There's a reason why this was the First Amendment. There's a reason why it's the amendment that is the most celebrated. And you don't even understand the basic principles of it. It's interesting.
You don't think that someone with a platform as big as Jimmy Kimmel has a moral obligation to speak the truth about a shooter? He lied about the shooter. It's like you guys are saying one thing, but that's not the reason that they gave that he was suspended for this brief period of time.
So let's say you're right, Notorious. Let's grant you the point, Notorious. So let's say you're 100% right, okay? And that he's an immoral man who's undeserving of his position. Let's say that's the case. Even if that is the case, it is not the government's role to get involved and to say that you have to take him off the air, you're going to face repercussions. You could be a consumer and decide that you don't want to run it. You can even be Sinclair and decide that you don't want to run it. Both of those are not violations of the First Amendment. The problem is when the government gets involved.
Also, if we're being technical, this is
You're agreeing with it. You're just the guy did was the problem. Is that what you're saying?
You broke up for me. I couldn't hear all that.
Me either.
I said, so you're agreeing with what I said, but the guy that gave the interview and kind of gave him a warning, you saying that's the problem. If that had never happened, everything it could have played out the way it played out. You would have been happy with that?
I mean, me being happy with it or not isn't really the point. Like, whatever my personal opinion is, that's just the opinion of just some random dude on the internet. What actually matters is that the government doesn't get involved in censoring speech. That's the point of the First Amendment. I'm talking about constitutionality. What are you talking about? What you like or don't like? Who cares? Like, you can have your opinion, like, boycott it. Go yell outside of Disney, ABC, whatever you want to do. Like, you have every right in the world to do that. That's protected speech under the First Amendment. But if while you're protesting outside of ABC, there's some government employee who says, if you keep yelling outside of ABC, I'm going to throw you in jail, or I'm going to otherwise sanction you in some way, shape, or form, that's wrong.
It's a constitutional violation
in this country.
Yeah.
I just think people are mad that the people on the right, they're just putting their foot in it. And again, I'm not even saying that I agree with it, but that's really just the way my read is on this whole thing. It's a lot of the people on the left, they did what they did, whether they want to admit to it or not, that's fine. And now that the Republicans are in the seat, they're just putting their foot in it. They just, it's almost like finesse pimping versus guerrilla pimping. That's just really
that's not accurate at all.
One party, one group is putting their foot in it way more than the other, and folks are just mad about that.
I think give me 1 second. There's a big difference in what you're saying and what's actually happening. Like, there's a distinct difference. They're not putting their foot in it. They're overstepping constitutional boundaries. It's really, really simple. And one thing that Trump said on the campaign trail, I don't know if you remember what your great orange childish-like leader said, but what he did say during his campaign trail was he was not for government overreaching or big government. The government is doing too much. We have an overreach of the government. Yet, when he gets into office, he's putting people in place and backing them as they do the exact thing he campaigned against, right? So there's a lack of integrity in the way that they're moving, right?
Oh, I agree.
And to take it a step further, Notorious says something along the lines of, he has a moral obligation. He's not the news. He is a late night entertainment host. I don't know if you understand the entertainment portion, but that's very relevant to the conversation, which means he has a right to give his opinion. His political opinion can be biased. He is not a newscaster.
Wait, did you just say?
So his political opinion can be biased. Now, he might have to check. It is.
Let me say I hate that person, right? You have the right to say that.
Right, he has a right to say that. That's the First Amendment. But that's not wild. If the wild to me lets me know that you don't understand. You don't understand that the First Amendment right still applies to a late night talk host.
All these Republicans and folks that sit up here and try to strip away people's rights, you wouldn't like it if somebody stripped away your rights and all this other kind of stuff. I told a dude one time, if you're throwing rocks at my glass house, you wouldn't want me to throw rocks at yours. So sit down somewhere. And these Republicans, they need to sit down somewhere, and I hope they have the same energy when the tables are flipped on you. Remember, y'all keep talking about tables flipped. The good Lord says things will catch up to you, including the ugly. So when you continue to be ugly, eventually ugly will hit you in the face like the door swings on the way out. At the end of the day, you can't do this kind of stuff and sit here and do this, man. It is, trying to hold people to a moral standard that y'all don't live up to either. You got a president that talks about inappropriate stuff, touching women in inappropriate areas and all that other kind of stuff. Y'all can't sit up here and hold a moral compass that you're not walking. I'm going to say that one more time. You can't sit here and hold a moral compass that your party is not walking. That is really embarrassing, and a pastor once said that. That's embarrassing. Y'all got to get that right before y'all sit up here and chunk rocks at other people. Fix it.
So, Gemini,
where have you been for 10 years?
So, Gemini, Gemini, you're saying,
Everybody just jumps off the mic. Can you just let what Ashton shared? Can we just let that breathe for a second?
Yeah, so Gemini, you're saying that it's okay for a platform to be biased? Is that what you're saying? I just want to make sure it's clear.
There are a lot of biased platforms. Now, he has to comply with his private company and in the contract that he signed with this private company and by the regulations set forth there, right? Those are the only regulations that he has to abide by. Other than that, First Amendment applies, which is why they brought him back, because he did not violate his contract. And that's why they were worried about the lawsuit, because they know legally they had no standing. So they had to concede, as you should in this moment.
I mean, fuck all this shit. Yeah, real quick, let me hop in here for 1 second, please, Your Honor. Let me hop in here real quick for 1 second. This has already also been discussed in Neer versus Missouri and in New York Times Co. versus, I believe, what was that? Hold on, I have it right here. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Moody v. Net Choice. I don't know why I was thinking New York Times. Both have been decided 2 times, really 5 times to be exact, by the Supreme Court. The government cannot intervene inside of any type of news publication or any forms of media to suppress or get rid of anything that they disagree with or find harmful. It's already been ruled as a direct violation of the First Amendment and to the freedoms of press and to the media. So, I mean, fuck the moral standing. The government quite literally cannot intervene.
Yeah, and also just around this question of
That through your thick head.
there would be oh my God, Ashton, like the idea that we would be sure that there's bias in media. Bias is inherent. Like, I don't know if we understand this. Like, just the editorials that you make about what you include or don't include is a form of bias. The way you talked about something has bias to it. Now, if you're trying to present something as just pure reporting and you're not aspiring to some level of objectivity, you can be judged for that, for being a bad reporter or a bad journalist or something like that. Like, fair enough. Like, that's okay. But of course there's bias. I don't think Fox News should be taken off the air because they've got a clear bias, or that MSNBC or whatever it's called now should be taken off the air because there's clear bias. That bias is okay, you know. And I think in an ideal world, they're honest about the bias, which frankly, both of those channels are honest about their bias. So, like, why are you surprised that there would be bias in media?
Thank you, Your Honor. But let's say this real quick, right? ABC is regulated. They're regulated by the FCC, right? And this is the ways they're regulated by the FCC. If it comes to indecency, obscenity, equal time rule as far as political candidates during debates, during elections, and fairness in advertising, right? But not editorial content. What the FCC does not regulate legally is bias or opinions. So legally, when they started to threaten based on an opinion, they were outside of what they're legally capable of doing. Now, as far as ABC's internal standards, they have internal standards regarding tone and appropriateness, audience expectations, and legal liability, like they can't do defamation and misinformation and shit like that, right? But as far as having political humor, political commentary, and political jokes, or left-leaning or right-leaning political jokes, that is a part of the show's identity and 100% legal. So when we're having a conversation about you can't have an opinion, that means you don't understand ABC or the FCC. Like, there's no three letters in a row that you completely comprehend, or you wouldn't be shocked at the fact that he can have an opinion legally and according to ABC standards.
Also, Gemini, you mentioned
FCC, remember that, and said that the FCC was essentially stepping over its bounds. Ted Cruz called that out here on the news. That is embarrassing when a Republican is saying that the FCC is overreaching and overbearing. That is embarrassing. Republicans, y'all got to fix that. When you got Republicans sitting up here and saying that you're doing bad, y'all voted for this man. So when you have the blowback that you do, now you understand lawsuits matter. And I'm glad that Jimmy Kimmel, I'm glad that they're back on the air, because you shouldn't be ripped off the air simply because of what you say based on an opinion. We're not in Dubai or Qatar or someplace where it like that. So we got to make sure that people have the right to stay on the air and speak their opinion. He didn't threaten to kill nobody, harm nobody, or nothing like that. And as long as that kind of stuff is within the bounds of his contract, those kinds of things, and he's following his contract like that gentleman said, ain't nothing wrong with that. But y'all got to stop trying to cancel people and take them off the air for what they say. This is America, and y'all better know that. People have rights under the Constitution, and hopefully folks understand that too. Republicans, fix it.
Why don't you fix the shit that you did? Go ahead,
can I speak, please, and then I'll pass it to you.
Wait, can Amari?
I hear somebody trying to get in there.
No, Malak, I let them always bow down to the mods. Malak, go ahead, sis.
Was that Malak?
Okay, you don't need to bow down, but I appreciate that. And then I'll pass to Amari. And Jay, did you want to speak as well?
Oh no, I've already said the Supreme Court cases that would rule over this. I mean, this whole conversation is about him being taken off the air. It's stupid based on the Supreme Court cases.
Okay, got you. So Gemini mentioned the equal time rule. We talked about this in the room the other night. Some of you might remember. The equal time rule, so the things people are mentioning, well, you keep inviting people from the left. Why don't you invite people from the right? The equal time rule does not apply to entertainment programming. So as a late night show, it's an entertainment program. The equal time rule doesn't apply to it. As for the timing of, what he said about Charlie Kirk or whatever, Trump tweeted when the announcement was made in the summer about Stephen Colbert. I guess he wasn't tweeting because he's off that site now. But anyway, posted. When the announcement was made about Stephen Colbert and Trump was celebrating, like, yes, I hate Colbert. This is amazing. I don't know if these were his exact words, but basically the sentiment. He said, quote, Jimmy Kimmel is next, unquote, obviously months and months before anything ever happened or was said about Charlie Kirk. He also said, they played a clip and he said it to the cameras. He said, these late night shows or these shows, all they do is hit Trump. That's all they do. You can't do that. Well, obviously you can do that, and that's exactly what late night shows do. If you remember a little story called Monica Lewinsky, they hit Clinton a lot. They hit remember how they called Bush stupid every single day?
Clinton hit Monica.
They hit all of these people. That is what late night shows do. So it's just to show that, okay, thanks, Mike. It's just to show that
that's bad context. That's a
okay. In terms of the context, it's not simply about the comments about Charlie Kirk. He's been gunning for this show. And then when they announced the suspension, he said, "This is great. Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, you're next." So this is his thing. He wants to go after all of these guys. Omari,
the only reason why I said it that way.
I think Omari wanted to speak.
I'm just trying to respond to that
Mike,
point.
I'm not inclined
Omari
to
was
let
next.
you go
Let's come
before
after that,
Omari.
right?
Right, I know.
Omari was next. Come on, mute up. Mute up. Go ahead, Omari.
Mike, if you want to be put in front of people in the line, maybe you shouldn't say that I'm babbling in the chat. Go ahead.
No, what we'll do is this. Lisa's going to put her Cash App up, and if you want to skip the line, you have to hit her Cash App, and then you can go ahead and do that.
Lisa don't have no Cash App.
People,
Man, foot down the throat.
I really don't.
I
I can use somebody else's Cash App though, and I'm also putting Cash App up if you want to knock people down off the stage and all that kind of shit like that.
Don't do that, Lisa.
It is a $5. We'll start at $5.
This is not Homeboy's room.
It'll be a $5 to shoot and a $10 recovery fee paid directly to the owner of the room.
Stop blocking my coins, Amari.
This ain't dark side. Please don't go there, please.
Off the stage.
There's a $5 to shoot fee and a $10 recovery fee paid directly to Lisa.
I've been
I'll get in the queue after Omari.
Lisa does plus users, VIP, get the mod badge also.
Oh, definitely plus members.
Yeah, I'll get in the queue after Omar because I want to respond.
You gotta pay to be a plus member of this room, so you have to pay directly to Lisa. Then you're considered a actual 420 plus member. There's a difference.
Okay, go ahead, Omari.
All right, so there's a couple of points I was taking notes on because I don't want to be rude. Ashton, one, what you're seeing right now is something that was going on a decade ago almost. So I think possibly, Ted Cruz, the senator that you mentioned, has talked about the Russian collusion hoax. I think you might want to go back and listen to his videos. 600 days plus, a man was under investigation, which basically destroyed almost the first 2 years of his first term. Think about that. He was told that he was a Russian. Not anyone on this stage. I don't think anyone on this stage had it. They had you guys were putting beer cans of something called molar time. Everybody had molar time. Like FBI is gonna come and take this man in handcuffs from the White House, and you pushing that, and everybody believed that bullshit. ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC. 2 years. He lost the midterms because of that. Because he was a Russian asset. So please don't tell us about what's going on now, because we don't want to hear that shit.
I was talking about what happened 10 years ago. I'm talking about here recently.
It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the you know what.
Right? That's right.
And so now
that's not what I'm talking about, brother. You said stuff.
Hold on, can I finish? I took notes. You can take notes and respond back when I finish, respectfully. All right. So I don't want to hear about again on the whole show. Jimmy Kimmel. I don't care. I don't care that Jimmy Kimmel was back on. I don't care when he was off. I just don't care. I don't care that President Trump also has the First Amendment right to also tweet what the fuck he want to tweet. If he want to say that motherfucker should be
anything to stop talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination.
His First Amendment rights don't go away. His Second Amendment rights don't go away. The Constitution also protects the President of the United States of this America.
It goes to motivation.
It doesn't matter. If he can't force people to fire them. Now, if these corporations actually, buckle, that's on them. They got to grow a backbone. As long as there's no emails or anything saying there's no quid pro quo to do this, then everything is Gucci.
Omari, I'm gonna show you where you're wrong. Hold up. I love your submission. I appreciate that. It was wonderfully put, sir. However, there's a slight issue with your submission, and I would like to highlight that, right? When you have the president that instates someone as the head of the FCC, and then he says it, and then they start carrying out his bidding, going against what's legal, right? When they start trying to imply we're going to either fine or sanction or punish you if you allow this man to express his opinion, that is 100% illegal. That is no longer, oh, well, the president has free speech and so does the head of the FCC. No, he's wielding his position, not the president, but the head of the FCC. The president is indirectly. The FCC is doing it directly, and that is technically illegal. It's not my opinion, it's just a fact.
Can I get in the queue?
Okay, let's just say you're right. That's a fact.
Let's just say I'm right. You can literally look that up and then get back me.
My assumption is that he will be then prosecuted for some type, whichever section of law, federal law that he violated. So he should be prosecuted if it's illegal.
No, it's not a
By who? Trump's Justice Department?
Whoever Justice Department. So if he did something illegal, no one's above the law, right? That's what we heard for since January.
Trump's above the law. He got 33 felonies and then become president. That's above the law.
Those are state
This isn't about criminal law.
And he was never sentenced by a judge. Why you guys keep saying that?
Why are you talking about criminal law?
And matter of fact, he's not a felon unless the judge actually.
He has 34 convictions, clown.
Convictions make you a felon.
Convictions by a jury, which was weak.
Do you know how many people get convicted and then get a suspended sentence?
For a white collar crime that
Nobody else covered. Sorry, don't know what you're talking about.
Michael, Miss Deborah. Go ahead, Miss Deborah.
She always cuts me up because she gets triggered, Lisa. This is crazy.
Ain't nobody cussing.
Fine, Lisa.
No, she cut me off. Like I was.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to.
you
I
already.
took notes on you guys. What you guys were saying. I'm trying to.
Be quiet.
But you know what, Gemini, respectfully, I took notes when everybody was talking. I'm trying to take.
He can say whatever he wants to say. And as a matter of fact, because he does, he's going to mess around, and Tish James and the other man, all the people that he's gone after, their attorneys are going to have a field day because he's now put it all in print that he goes after his enemies. And they literally are going to get off because he likes to tweet. So he can say whatever he wants. Every time he opens his mouth on Twitter and on Truth Social, he makes America weaker because he keeps showing how dumb he is. It's what's on his mind. And it's going to in trouble. But yeah, I think he can say whatever he wants. So why are you arguing that, Mike P? Nobody said he couldn't say
It's
anything.
Amari, it's not Mike.
Amari in the chat said it.
And guess what? She ran on getting Trump during her campaign.
And you cut me off, so I'm gonna keep talking.
It's your room. It's fine.
It's not my room. It's our room. It's yours too. But you know, when you're saying that he never got he didn't get convicted. The judge didn't convict him, but I mean didn't sentence him, but he was convicted. That's what we said. So your points don't even make sense. Sometimes you could just be quiet.
Yeah, he dropped it because he knew that shit was gonna get overturned by the Supreme Court, just like the other bullshit they try to put in. Stop the cap. Why don't you guys be honest? Why can't you call balls or strikes this time around? He knew that was a trumped up, no pun intended, case.
It's just literally free space. It's just literally free space.
She campaigned on getting him. Alvin Bragg campaigned on getting him. We gonna take down Donald Trump. Like, how do you campaign and not say that's illegal?
A law enforcer campaigned on prosecuting a criminal. Wow.
Like,
see your bias right there?
That's true, though.
We are innocent before guilty. That is the Constitution.
Omari, let's say there's somebody, I don't want to use you because that'd be rude. I don't want to disrespect you. Let's say there was somebody that was a pedophile. Random person, they're a pedophile. And then a prosecutor takes office, and then they're a notorious pedophile. Everybody knows about it, but somehow they've been able to escape the law. And then a prosecutor campaigns on, you know what, I'm going to hold this pedophile accountable. Doesn't mean that the guy's not a pedophile. Doesn't mean that the prosecutor is wrong for saying I'm going to target this particular pedophile. It just means that the DA is letting it be known I'm going to target this pedophile. They didn't create a crime. They didn't find something and make it up.
But the basic question you
Created
have to
that
ask is,
crime by
what should the
doing
role
those
government
actions
take?
for which he was held accountable. So what you're saying shows a lack of accountability. Wow, somebody said they're going to hold him accountable for his crime. What's wrong with them? Are you serious?
This is wild. This is wild. This is just a really straw. I mean, I don't even know why you guys bring this up. This is
distraction
crazy.
by Omari in the first place, because what we were actually talking about.
I responded to Ashton.
And when the government violates free speech, what doesn't happen is like the government official doesn't go to prison. That's not what happens. Like what happens is that there's a ruling by a judge that says that this person's free speech rights or whatever constitutional right has been violated, and they say to the person who's violating those rights that you need to stop violating those rights. And in some cases, there's some kind of action that then happens above and beyond that, right? It could potentially be remuneration, right? They may get some money. They may get their job back. There's different things that can happen when your rights are violated. What doesn't happen is someone goes to prison. Like, for example, there was one of the ways that Biden tried to, provide student loan relief. It went through the courts. It was decided in multiple directions, and ultimately decided that one of the ways that he had tried to provide student loan relief was actually illegal, and so he needed to not do that. And he didn't go to prison just because he was wrong.
And he actually tried to do it again, even after they said it.
You guys need basic civics to just understand how the law works. And you keep talking and then you shift it to something completely different. Now we're talking about the 34.
Because you made a statement and then you didn't even justify your statement that he still tried to do it after the Supreme Court. And let's just put a ball on
something different, Omari.
Yeah, he put sprinkles on shit. That's what he did. So
that's what you think. That's your opinion.
So let's just hold on. Let's put a ball on the shit.
And the thing that you're doing is you're pretending like the law isn't complicated. So and it is often complicated. However,
that's not complicated.
What is it?
The Supreme Court said you can't do it. And he tried to redo it again.
Do you know that he won in lower court, Omari?
The Supreme Court said you cannot.
Do you know that he won in lower court?
And the Supreme Court, I know what the Supreme Court said.
Okay, but it's the lower court.
Let's put a ball on this. Hold on, we're at the realm.
Stop. No, you're gonna stop for a second.
Okay, go ahead and finish what you're gonna say.
If the lower court ruled one way and a higher court rules another way, that's almost the definition of it being complicated. If judges who are trained in the law, who are literally in their positions to adjudicate, disagree, then there is complexity. What there is not complexity in is the government shutting down speech. It's cut and dried. There's no question about it. There's no gray area here. This is a gross violation of free speech. And the idea that you're dancing around this just either shows A, that you're ignorant, or B, you're disingenuous.
Okay, you went back to free speech. I'm going to put a bow on this. You guys have been on his app for a while, saying the same thing. Everyone's been on his app. And guess what? You haven't beat the man. You haven't beat him. You haven't beat us. You haven't beat him. We beat you. We have to, hold on, let me finish. I'm going to put a bow on. I'm going to let Jay go. We beat you 2 out of the 3 elections. We took out Biden in June of 2024. Destroyed him, got him out the debate, got him the fuck out of there, right? Then we beat you in November. So this stupid guy, this guy you call dumb and all this other, he beat you guys.
Yep.
You guys can't, and it's over.
Your argument is Mike Drop, right?
It doesn't matter.
You're an authoritarian piece of shit.
We have destroyed
and this is why you can't be tolerated.
This is why you can't win elections, because you don't know anything about what voters really care about.
And there's a chance you might not win.
When you say we, I assume you're including yourself and Trump. Is that right?
Anyone who voted for Trump beat the people who didn't vote for Trump. We beat you guys, fair and square. 77 million of us destroyed you.
And it wasn't close. Like Kamala keeps saying, it was close. It wasn't close.
You're so
And
fucking.
they don't want to talk about that lie too. She keeps lying.
She keeps saying that it was the culture.
Yeah, 1% difference is pretty close.
Yeah, when it was California 3 months.
After the election night, y'all didn't check the numbers no more because y'all dumb. Y'all didn't check after all the numbers were counted because y'all dumb.
It took California 3 months to count their votes.
The total number of
Not one
votes.
swing state.
And the way the Electoral College works is important here. And it was 200,000 votes across 3 states. If you don't believe the math, and you can do math, you can double check these numbers. It was 200,000 votes. Thank you very much.
And it still took California to count their vote. I think they're still counting votes in California.
Nothing to do with it.
They're still counting votes in California.
Nothing to do with it.
I think they're still counting Bernie votes in Iowa.
Why does California matter?
Well, Donald Trump is still counting 2020. So what's your point?
What does any of this have to do?
He's still talking about he lost.
I'm so
Getting in 2020. So what's your point? What's your point?
He feels that he was cheated. But what I'd like to say, and I feels like the way he was cheated.
He's still talking about it.
I think he lost fair square too. But
Let's hear from Jay because we haven't heard from Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, no, I was just very confused. I was in the queue after.
You can go after Jay, Mike. Go ahead.
Oh, I was in the queue after Amari. Now I gotta.
Do I have to move you down again? Please let Jay speak.
Okay, so
Mike, be paid. Control yourself.
I was in the queue and now she's saying like I have to do somebody.
to be fair,
y'all hear Lisa talking, right? Y'all hear Lisa talking?
Hold on for a second. Can you guys just give
Y'all hear Lisa talking? Mute up.
You guys just give me a second. I just came up with a novel idea. And I know that some of you guys are going to push back on it. But I think we need one MAGA as a mod. You guys agree or disagree?
No.
No.
They'll boom the room,
Lisa, no, someone will boom your room.
Hey, Lisa, you know what you just said? Lisa, one mic, what the equivalent of what you just said is I think at some point the clowns need to run the circus. Like, no.
No, Lisa. I wouldn't even
Even though you said
Lisa,
it was supposed to be biased, right?
it's just that I want to prioritize voices.
Channel, Amari.
It's just that I want to prioritize people who don't speak a lot.
Oh,
That's
no,
all.
the queue was the queue, right?
Alright, so I'll go after Mike just to be fair.
The queue was
Just to be fair, because Listen, Mike was waiting for a fat ass minute. Let Mike go, then I'll go after him.
Okay, fine. Jay's deciding to be generous, so we'll hear from Mike.
Pink Pill be a mod? I think Pink Pill will be a mod.
We're having their one-on-one.
Yeah, let me know.
Basically, what it is, I would love to be able to just respond to Malak real fast. Again, there's no issues with you at all. But when you spoke about, I know, just mute it up, because I can't with the feedback. Yeah, can somebody tell me to mute up, please?
Just go.
Let Crater say talk.
What did you just say, man?
Mike, just go, fam. Come on, bro. This is my first
It has to be a level of decorum. Why is he all?
She's not bothering you. Mike either go or don't. Like, she's not bothering you.
Y'all be muting my mic when I'm off mic. So
Mike, stop playing and play the game.
Hey, you about to get dropped. You just say something to
my mic just got muted, but y'all couldn't mute her.
Okay, go ahead. Who's next?
Okay, Brooklyn and then Jay, or was it Jay and then Brooklyn?
See how that works? See what they doing in your room, right?
You meant
You muted my mic, but you couldn't mute her mic. Okay.
Mike, if you have a point to make, you need to make it. Go ahead.
I do have a point.
You're being disruptive. I'm going to drop you, and Lisa can be mad at me. Either make your point or don't.
I mean, the rules are the rules. Let's just
give me a green bean.
Okay, go ahead. That's it. Go ahead. Who's next?
Mike, talk.
No, I didn't. I dropped him. Who's next?
Don't let him talk.
Okay. Jay.
You have to moderate the room and keep the moving.
Please go ahead, Jay. Please.
Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually want to hear what Mike has to say.
Okay, thank you. Brooklyn, go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's Jay's submission. Let's hear Brooklyn.
Just wanted to point out the fact that y'all doing it again. Y'all wasting your time with people that don't give a fuck. Like, these people are literal retards. Like, and
Come in the room telling us that we're waiting.
and them.
Because we've been open all day. I've been having really
Lisa, can I finish? Can I finish?
I know, but when you start off telling me that my
Just
brother
start doing it again.
that's
I
not
didn't
cool.
say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say nothing about your room being
Because you're doing it again. What am I doing?
Just said that y'all wasting y'all breath arguing with these niggas. Like, just have a conversation with them at the end of the day. Cause
That's what we're doing. Well, no one's.
no, you're not.
Brooklyn,
Don't talk to me. I already told you to stop talking to me.
Brooklyn, you know I love you.
Don't please let me finish.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Just have a regular conversation with these idiots, cause they're really not. They're not hearing you out. All I hear is you, Democrats. I guess that's what y'all trying to prove to them that y'all right, and y'all are right, but they don't care, right? So just have to talk and keep moving. That's it. I don't really. Let me just leave.
You just don't know how to debate, and that's their problem. You should stay here and
What
learn from us.
am I debating? What am I debating? And who am I debating with?
You just want to have a human centipede conversation. They don't want human centipede in 420. They don't want the human centipede.
When you in the white beards and all of them other rooms, or all of them Republicans, you have a regular center conversation.
I spend 99% of my time in here. 99% of my time.
Oh, okay. I don't know why you talking to me.
Because you need to just have a conversation. It's easy. You're an adult now. You can have a conversation with Notorious and Mike. It's not that hard.
You're spreading misinformation, and you're not a real person. You're an adult that acts like a child. And every time
I'm educating you, and you're calling me a child.
You're not educating anything.
Omar,
You're
stay
wrong.
on mute.
Pink Pill was wrong.
I got this, Dad. I don't need your help.
You gonna
Y'all
stay
do
on
nothing
mute?
but fucking
No, she needs to
lie
learn.
the whole
She needs to
time.
understand that, please.
When y'all come up here, all you niggas is struggling, and y'all on here to make yourselves feel better, like y'all winning something, and y'all not. Y'all never won anything in y'all lives. And the closest y'all ever got to winning was an orange man winning the fucking presidency while taking all your rights away. So if this is winning to y'all, then I definitely know that y'all
I have children and a grandbaby. I'm winning in life. I don't know. I created life.
You're a loser in life.
I created life. I'm winning. This is just Clubhouse. This might be winning for you, but not for me. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're not here to insult each other.
No, we're not going to bring personality in there.
I will really let you have.
No, it's not about that. It's not about us getting personal. I treat you so sweet.
Don't do it because you already know they're going to censor me after I get in your ass. So let it go.
Why would you drop me down when we're having a conversation?
You need to stop. You're not in the line.
Not drop Amari. I'm going to go in the audience now. Bye.
I'm good at Brooklyn. You stay up. There's no need to go on. It's not that deep, bro.
Brooklyn.
Like, why are you running?
1 second, Omar, 1 second. Hold on.
No, I want her to stand on stage and talk to us.
That's my point. So just give me a second. Brooklyn, come back up. Finish saying what you're saying. Omar, you can go back if she's finished speaking. Thanks so much.
Yeah, for sure. She comes back up. I'll give her the mic, and then I just want to continue. I like Brooklyn a lot, y'all. She comes back on stage.
I was trying to keep you on mute while she was talking, and you kept.
Okay, you know what? Let me just do this for you guys, okay? I love all you guys to death. I really do. I really, really do. And I give a lot of free range here. But there's certain people that I do not want dropped. And Amari is one of them. I don't want him dropped. He spends a lot of time in here. He contributes to the room a lot. Amari can talk the entire fucking shift. And I appreciate him contributing to the room as that other voice. Without him being in this room to push back, it's a lot of dead air. So I appreciate you, Amari, and I welcome you to the room. I welcome you to speak. I welcome you to contribute. And you guys gotta understand that. And until you contribute as much as Amari and Deborah and all the people who are always and Gemini and all the people who are always off mic making this room what it is. Antagonizing? Have you guys heard antagonizing? When people come on stage and call me a bitch and talk about my kids? That's what I call antagonizing.
would call that worse than antagonizing.
Well, I'm just saying. So Amari's done none of that. He just has a different opinion.
Okay.
So I'm good. I mean, I don't know if you guys are not good with. I'm pretty good.
Brooklyn, I sent you an invite. You don't want to come back up, Brooklyn.
Okay, so on that note,
I
I'm not done talking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, go.
Mike,
you don't want to come back up.
Mike, we got Matt on the stage now. We got you. We got Amari. We got Notorious. Let's just have this conversation. It's getting late, so let's just have it. I was enjoying the hell out of it. I got people over here listening to you guys. We're enjoying it.
Yes, indeed. No, I wanted to respond to what Malak had said some time ago. I mean, we got a little bit disengaged by all that babble. Shout out to Amari, because he's way more patient than I am. But, you know, when Malak brought up the whole thing, because we were talking about Jimmy Kimmel, you know, and again, I don't agree with him being taken off the air, just for the record. But the difference in this country, when you bring up Bill Clinton and his improprieties and how they were spoken about on late night TV, and also with Bush, you know, the country was in a different time. It was a different tone, it was a different energy. It was a lot more balanced. If you did something, no matter who did it, they fried you up. And we're cool with that. What has happened with the emergence of Donald Trump is that it has tilted dramatically to the point now where you hardly talk about the Democrats.
Constantly
Wait, no. It has tilted. And we can see that it's tilted. There were many more Republicans that were being invited, and people and conservatives back in those days that you spoke to, that were invited on those shows, that were allowed to speak, that were allowed to promote their books, that were allowed to, you know, pontificate and say all sorts of things. It was just a different time. It was way more balanced. Today it is not. And that has a lot to do with the emergence of Donald Trump. If I could just point. And so when you do things like that, and when people are seeing this, and they're seeing the disproportionate way in which one side is being serviced versus the other side is being attacked, or one side is able to be accepted versus the other side isn't necessarily, or one side is being, you know, kind of, you're handling with kid gloves, but the other side you're going extra in. Again, I don't have a problem with anybody going extra in on Donald Trump, it's fine. But doing that to the other side, you gotta get, at some point, you can't be that, you're not God. Like, you can't believe that your side is so right and so progressive and so a bastion for excellence that you just get to do whatever you want to do. And then when they start doing things to you, then all of a sudden, with a hold up. And that's the problem.
Undesired. Which show? Who was not invited to go on a show? What show that you're talking about? Because you can say that all day long. You have no proof of what you just said. None whatsoever. None. We see a lot of conservatives every day. None. Boy, you just talking. You never have any evidence to any submission that you make. You just talk, run your mouth. Yeah, okay, so then put something in the damn phone. Give us one. Give us one.
I have an example. There was a.
Yeah, you might have an example, but Mike don't have one. Mike don't have one.
Conservative on these shows. Let's stop.
Wait a minute. Can we not act like that? Can we not act like that? MAGAs are the same as conservatives, please? Because they're not. MAGAs up today. No, but let me finish, please. When you're talking about the past, I'm assuming you're talking about like around between 2000 and 2016, about when Republicans and Democrats all go on these little podcast interviews, shows, shit like that, promote themselves, promote their books, promote their works. It's a very completely different time from then. Even Democrats between 2000 and 2015.
And there is no God than me, and my Lord had it.
Jay, I think you're in the mood now.
Therefore,
I'm shit.
Jay, you was in the Matrix. Jay, you were in the Matrix.
Oh, okay.
With me, since I am infinite space,
fucked up, man.
and the infinite stars
You're doing it now.
also
No, you're not good.
Y'all literally have conservatives literally have have conservative radio and conservative TV channels. Like that is which radio show is called the liberal channel?
And also,
So y'all have been doing this a whole way longer. Before
Not to
Rush
choose
Limbaugh.
just one path for
That's just
justice and
crazy that y'all would
transparency.
try to say. But okay, y'all can't even admit y'all can't even admit Donald Trump had 34 convictions.
Oh,
So
God.
we expect y'all to be truthful, especially you, Mike P. You still ain't admitted that.
Can y'all hear me now?
Nothing you say is credible, sir.
Hang on, yeah, hang on, Jay.
Doesn't mean that I'm wrong.
there's also the show Real Time with Bill Maher, if you're familiar with that popular late night program, which has had a number of conservatives on it.
That's one.
Just the other week had Ben Shapiro.
That's one. Yes, indeed. That's one.
Jay, all right, you still there? I think you're good.
All right, cool. Yeah. I do just want to say, though, I feel like Mike is correct, but I feel like when you say conservatives, Mike, we're getting, like, conservatives back then between 2000, I would say actually 1998 and in 2016, between that time period, conservatives and Democrats of then would look at the conservatives and Democrats of today and say, what the fuck are you doing? Both parties have kind of gone a little bit too far to the left and too far to the right. You can't agree on shit. So I can understand what you're saying when you mean that neither side can really do as much as they used to, can promote themselves as they used to. You are correct. But let's also not act like it's all the same party as they used to be. Both sides have gone too far, and both sides have not been right on many occasions. And to the guy, I forgot who it was earlier, said that Trump beat us. You're absolutely right. He did beat us. I mean, Trump did beat Democrats. He absolutely did. We weren't together. We weren't, however. And if we don't get our shit together, it'd be a repeat in the next presidential election. But we got some time. Hopefully we can do a little bit of a turnaround. And finally, Mike, you are also correct about the emergence of Donald Trump. It did change the political landscape as a whole, as you can see. And we can't say it's not. That's all.
Hey, Jay, can I ask you a lot with what you said? Can I ask you one question, though, Jay?
Sure.
1 sec, please. True or false? Donald J. Trump's first president, not only to be a convicted felon, but with 34 felonies. True or false?
Yeah, he has 34 convictions.
Mike, your name's not Jay. Go on mute. Sorry, go ahead, Jay.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, he has 34 convictions. I mean, what's the issue here?
Okay, but the issue is that it's easy for you to say, but Mike, for some reason, is allergic to reality. I just wanted to put it out there.
You want to ask me the question?
All right.
Yes, he has 34 convictions.
I've been waiting to
Does that
go.
make you happy now?
I'm waiting to go. I'm going to go.
I want to ask a question.
I'm going to go. You
Jay,
can ask
it's
the
just
question
a
after me, buddy.
disingenuous. That's all, Jay.
Yeah, I want to ask
Mike,
a question real
And
quick.
so,
to see if I
hold on a
may.
second. Hold on a second, Butter. You're gonna go after me, and I'm gonna go right now. So I disagree with something that you said, Jay, and I think it's a really important distinction. I have no problem with fierce disagreement. I have no problem with Republicans or MAGA or whoever else having their own space where they have their own media. They only talk to their own people, or if they want to have a diverse set of opinions, I don't have a problem with that either. I think that's all fine. I absolutely believe in each and every person's right to be able to do those different things. I don't like OAN. I don't think it should be taken off the air, right? I don't like Fox News. I don't think it should be taken off the air, right? What's going on now is that there wasn't an Obama or a Biden push to take Fox News off the air, right? Or to take, say, Jesse Waters off the air. But there has been a Trump administration effort to go after late night hosts that he doesn't like. That is different in kind. And this idea that it's like, oh, well, now the shoe's on the other foot, or the rabbit has the gun, whatever other stupid ass phrase people are using, is nonsense. Because that actually isn't what's happening. And in the rare cases where there's been something where there's been some kind of malfeasance on the side of the Democrats, that's where there's been targeting, I'm against that. I don't think that that's good. It's very rarely happened, though. What we're seeing now under Donald Trump is a wide-scale use of government to go after Trump's perceived enemies. And that is something that is different. It is new. It is not something that like George W. Bush did in the same way, or Clinton did in the same way, or Obama or Biden. It is uniquely, to the extent that we're seeing now, it is uniquely a Trump thing. And pretending that those two things are equal does a disservice to all of us, because they are not equal.
I never tried to make them seem equal, so I'm a little confused as to where you...
That part, thank you.
You were saying you did this both sides thing where you think both sides have been doing this and coming at each other back and forth. And if I misunderstood that, or maybe what I'm really doing is pointing out what I think is a really important omission. Maybe that's what's going on here. I'm pointing out what I think is an extremely important omission. That the thing that we've been talking about around free speech is really about the use of government power, about using offices that belong to the people for personal or political gain, as opposed to using them in service of the pop and their popular good.
The other
Can we bring up Christian?
They just punish in different ways.
No lady punchers allowed on stage.
Can we? Butter has been waiting to talk.
Yeah, I've been trying to, and I'm going to be super quick. The only thing I wanted to add was that there were all kinds of changes as far as election integrity. In Georgia in particular, during that election, that really affected certain groups of people, certain counties.
Election.
The primary election when Trump and before that actually, it was I think 2021 when they started the reforms in Georgia. They had some kind of a election integrity act, I believe it was called.
Right, where they lost the state and then they tried to make it harder for everyone to vote. Go ahead.
Exactly. So that's the only thing I wanted to add is that there was, I think, if you want to make changes like that, just so that you can make it difficult for people to vote or be confused about where they're going to vote now or make their polls so far away that it deters them from voting, I think you could say that's manipulative. That's all I want to say.
Thanks, Butter. So I did a little research, and there have been a number of conservatives on these late night shows. Now, it's important to point out that the Bill Maher show, for example, which I named, that's an explicitly political show. Most of these shows are not explicitly political. The only really political part is the monologue. They joke about current events and politics. But after the monologue is finished, in terms of the guests, as I said, they mainly have actors, comedians, musicians. They don't have politicians a lot. Usually, in order to be a politician that can get on these shows, you have to have a very high profile, i.e. be quite famous. But that being said, they have had a number of conservative guests. They had Jim Kimmel in 2021 and 23, had Mike Lindell, the MyPillow CEO. They've had Orrin on The Daily Show. This is all in the past few years. Orrin Cass, conservative policy thinker. They've had Meghan McCain. They've had Ted Cruz, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger. Now, I think part of the problem, by the way, in terms of the liberals, it's not like they've had that many more. They've had, like I said, big names, Bernie Sanders, Cory Booker, Tammy Duckworth, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren. But if you're using the same time period, it's not that many more politicians. But I think the difference between someone was saying MAGA and conservatives, it's not really the same thing. I think part of the problem is these network late night shows, they're within the mainstream. So first of all, not all the late night shows have guests like that, but of the ones they do, the network shows are very much in the mainstream. And a lot of the MAGA policy positions and the things that they say, they're very far outside of the mainstream. So they're trying to move, they want to move the mainstream, but it's in the process. They haven't fully moved it yet. So if you want to go so far outside of the mainstream in terms of the things that you back and the views that you have, yeah, you probably won't be brought up on mainstream media as much. That's all I wanted to say.
I would say this again, and again, thank you, Lisa, for what you stated. It's frustrating because all we do, I know Mike does a little bit more trolling than most of us. I know TC comes on, he's Mike, you do have to chill out just a little bit. But other than that, we all try to come in. Like, I respect Brooklyn. I think she's smart. I think everybody here is smart. We have, like, for example, Aaron just said one thing, and then I posted an article where we know that they've tried to stop Fox News. Don't hold on before you come off mic. We know that when Tucker Carlson got kicked off, he was laughing. He thought it was funny. So again, let's not act like Jimmy Kimmel has not been Kimmel. I did the B again, right? Malak, sorry. Let's not act like he did not make fun when Tucker lost his job.
Was that a result of the interference of the federal government?
I don't know why Tucker got. I don't know why. I don't know why.
We make an argument and you don't respond to the argument. You ignore it. You call it a nothing burger, and then you just repeat yourself.
Why would you make fun of someone who's
I definitely called it a nothing burger. I did.
Oh, but hold on, but real quick, why? I mean, we're just talking.
You named about 5 or 6 names.
Right. When Bill O'Reilly got kicked off, people were excited.
What I'm telling you is that there is parity. That is what I'm saying.
It's nothing.
And if there's a lack of representatives, I'm explaining to you why. Now, if you want to disagree with that, go ahead. But if you're here to just insult me, well, I guess I have to take it because it's.
I didn't insult you. I just said that whole thing.
You said I'm babbling, and I said nothing.
I said that statement wasn't a nothing burger. I didn't say that you weren't smart. I never said that you were unintelligent. I never said that you weren't smart. I said that particular thing just didn't really, because again, at the end of the day, it doesn't usurp my point, which is there is a disproportionate amount of people that are on the left that are invited.
No, it wasn't him, Debbie. It was Malik. He didn't say nothing about me.
But
I'm just saying, I haven't even said nothing, and you guys are calling me out. I'm just over here sitting down doing what I gotta do. You guys are having a good time. We're in the room.
Never do mine, then. You do your homework. Never do your time.
Do your homework. But Malak, you just went over what I just said. You went straight to Mike, right?
Can I respond to you, Amari?
No. Can she get you? Can go. Can you go after her?
What you said was Jimmy Kimmel left when Tucker Carlson was taken off the air. Is that right?
Yes, he did. Yes.
So what I'm telling you is, you're saying, see, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing because that wasn't because of the federal government. If Jimmy Kimmel got bad ratings or there was a petition from the public to take him or under any other circumstance and everyone on the right laughed about it, that would be one thing. That would be fine. I mean, maybe some of us wouldn't like it, but whatever. The difference is the government went after him. That is what you have to deal with.
After an assassination, you're trying to talk about something where it's an assassin. A person got killed in front of millions of people. You're more upset about Jimmy Kimmel than someone got assassinated.
I'm not upset about Jimmy Kimmel. I'm upset about the First Amendment.
That is wild.
It doesn't because somebody got killed. Niggas die every day, B.
That government doesn't care about assassinations because they were all popping jokes when the Minnesota's one got assassinated. They all popped jokes when they got assaulted. When they
I don't know anyone from that was popping jokes.
So don't give me that fake bullshit that we're all so concerned about these. Oh, nobody was violent. It was an assassination now.
Can you find where Tucker Carlson or will you find anyone else that went on TV or someone that went on TV like Gutfeld or somebody?
Mike Lee was.
I'm talking about a TV person. I'm talking about a TV
senator
person.
A big deal? Is a senator more or less important?
Can we keep it equivalent to like Jimmy Kimmel? We're talking about a talk show host.
This is fucking insane.
You want to talk about a senator? We're talking about Jimmy Kimmel. Why? You see how you move the goalposts? You do this all the time, and you say I do this.
You're talking about somebody with more power than Jimmy Kimmel. How dare you?
Because we're talking about Jimmy Kimmel right now.
This is literally someone of greater import. Like what?
Okay, we can go to politicians next, but can we stick to one?
I want to actually respond to what you said earlier about the your supposed examples of things going down. Now, there's only one thing that you've said which I think has merit, and I do think it has merit, which was the Obama administration potentially, and keep in mind, potentially, I don't actually believe they ever went through with this, trying to exclude Fox News from some kind of like pool. I do agree with that. I don't think it's something that should be done. Like, I don't think that's a good thing. So that piece, I think, has some credence. said, even that is actually not a violation of free speech. It's just a violation of good practice for a White House in terms of transparency. Like, it's not actually a free speech violation.
Why can't you say it's first wrong? Why can't you just say it's wrong and then we just move on?
I literally just said.
Yeah, but why do you have to like then add the extra to it?
Because you know, let me explain to you why. Because the law matters, the Constitution matters, and if we're having a conversation about free speech, we're talking about the Constitution and the rights that it confers. And if you move the goalposts so that it's not about the Constitution anymore, that's a meaningful difference that I'm going to point out, because if we're talking about when someone is violating rights or not, it really matters. And again, the point that I've been making is that what Donald Trump administration are doing right now is different in kind. And that he deserves the label authoritarian is because he is violating the Constitution, which is our founding document that we all agree to live under as citizens of the United States of America and permanent residents. Everyone else is here. So that is the point. And you keep trying, saying that you keep trying to draw equivalences that's not there. And I've already said, I don't think they were there with George W. Bush either. I don't think George W. Bush did this stuff.
You know who Lois Lerner is? Do you know who Lois Lerner is? Does anyone on the stage know who Lois Lerner is?
This is the IRS lady.
IRS lady. And what happened with that? Who knows? Was that constitutionally? Was that being considered democracy? And was that being kind, as you would say, or would that be considered dictatorship? When you go after who?
So if I believe the right-wing version of that story,
the right-wing version,
which is essentially that they were going after right-wing organizations and targeting them explicitly, I would definitely feel like that was an abuse of power.
Thank you.
It's not. It's not freedom of speech, but it's a different thing. Look, I'm against government overreach. There's lots of other examples of government overreach that I can point out, and I don't really give a shit at which side that it's on. However, it's still not the same thing as what's happening here. And if you're worried about Lois Lerner, I sincerely hope that you got the balls to say on this stage that what Donald Trump has recently done in terms of trying to prosecute Comey and Tish James is far worse and wildly unacceptable.
Wild.
Are those crickets I'm hearing?
I'm sorry. No. Yeah, I agree.
Go ahead then.
You know,
you agree? Okay.
Okay, yeah, we can agree with that, right?
I give you more credit than I'd give to someone like Mac Gould. I appreciate it.
No, you don't have to throw Mike. But the difference with Mike, when Mike comes here and he's not coming here to have an agreement. He's there to have that alternative fact side. So Mike is my alternative. Notorious is my alternative facts guy. I'm gonna be the one that's gonna be a little different. That's gonna see both sides. I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna make a decision. But if you just shit on Trump 24/7, if you just gonna shit on Trump and then don't look at anything historically and be like, you know what, this ain't. When you act like this is the first time some shit has happened, that to me, I think you're trying. I think you're playing with our side.
So Omari, the difference.
So Omari, the problem with what you're saying is that there's a question of magnitude here, right? So the magnitude of what has happened in previous administrations, Republican and Democrat, is not even close to what is happening under this administration, and in particular, Trump 2, much worse than Trump 1. Trump 1 was bad. Trump 2
I disagree. And it's because Google just had to reinstate. I know this isn't having to do with comedians, but it does have to do with free speech. Google just went in front of the Senate and said that the Biden administration leaned on them hard to get rid of content creators that were talking about COVID in the way that they did not want to talk about it. They banned people. YouTube just welcomed
but the basic question you have to ask is what's the role of government
that they banned during COVID. That, in terms of magnitude, is huge. I would argue more huge than Kimmel, more huge, bigger than taxes. You actively work to suppress speech for years, and it lives. And you guys just act like, look it up. It just happened yesterday. Why do you guys act like you were born today and you don't remember what you did yesterday?
Don't hold up. You can give your opinion without the personal attacks. Now, with that said, we're not. We're talking about. Let me respond to this. We're not acting like we were born yesterday. You are by saying that, but in response to what you just, as far as what Biden did, I'm not familiar with that. I heard bits and pieces, and I don't agree with it. If he was suppressing voices in the interest of trying to further his cause or further his opinion or agenda, I don't agree with it on either side. So there you go.
No, that was about.
But I don't know if it is or not. But I will say this: what about? We're talking about what is currently impacting the economy. The rights of people right now that have platforms right now. Biden is not doing that. Biden is sick and trying to take care of himself. Right now, we have a current president that are doing things that are currently impacting us, which is why we're currently speaking about. If you could stay in the present instead of redirecting the conversation to Biden, which is what the typical Republican does, because they don't know how to actually verbalize what's happening now or contextualize what's happening now.
Gemini. But
So
you
that-
can't let that lie just lay there.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
He was trying to stop misinformation.
Right, but they're going to just try to lean on Biden. Let's take what's doing right now. What'd she say? Go ahead. What you saying, Deborah?
It's not a lie. It's true.
Yeah, it's not a lie.
It's not a lie.
Can we stay in the present tense? Stay on topic. Stay on topic. Stay on topic.
Skipping paragraphs is a trick.
Okay, I'm sorry. I jumped out the car. I forgot, and I wasn't on my Bluetooth. I'm just saying we ain't got to.
He goes right in the whip.
But she can't just say that and we not respond to that. She's lying. Yes, they were just in court yesterday, but I'm still talking
in 2006.
And they were trying to shut down all of the misinformation, all of the Russian bots
You took over the Fed
that,
in
just flying all over the
2006.
internet. The same thing that's happening now. He was trying to get some of that regulated. That's it.
Can we put a bow on 2006? Go ahead, Janice.
Thank you. Yeah, because it's not about who's lying and who's not. It's about telling the whole story.
The Fed
The Google article that broke, the news that broke, it was about Biden making sure that they minimized or eliminated misinformation, like Deborah said, or disinformation. The misinformation around COVID and the disinformation around the election. It wasn't just random creators that support the right side. It was in the interest of public health. And the misinformation around how the elections were suppressing vote and putting misinformation out there with like the Russian bots and stuff like Deborah said. Tell the whole story.
That makes a big fucking difference.
Damn.
That makes a big difference.
So you gonna say they pressed the laptop?
I'll just respond with this. You always think that you are in the right and justified in what you do when you have the power to do it. You will always convince yourself that you are more right than the other side.
It was in the interest of public health.
It was a pandemic. And there's a difference between pressuring and coercion.
Charlie, I don't know if you can see us now, but if heaven has a window, I sure hope you're looking down.
They said, do what we're telling you to do, or these are the consequences that we will bring to bear that have nothing to do with our actual work, but are purely about getting you to do what we want you to do. There's no evidence that the Biden administration said there's going to be grave consequences on Facebook, and we're going to bring the full weight of the federal government to bear if you don't do what we're telling you to do. There's a difference between coercion and pressure.
And they didn't. They added fact checking. They added fact checking. They didn't remove everybody.
Mark Zuckerberg went in front of Senate and admitted that they were pressured, that they suppressed. Like, just look it up. You don't have to. I know.
Okay, but all of these
suppressed. Just
but
tell the whole story.
information. And they didn't remove it all. At some point, they acquiesced and put fact checking in place.
That is correct. That's exactly what they did. It's useless to actually talk to these people about these things because they're always going to try to draw equivalences to what you're doing because they pre-rationalize that what you're doing is as bad as what they're doing. The nuance or the context doesn't matter because that takes your actual brain, using your actual brain to decipher out the information or actually knowing the information in order to make a fair comparison. But damn that. I pre-rationalize it. You do wrong stuff too. So I'm going to say that this is wrong stuff without any of the context, without explaining the entirety of what you're talking about, just so that I can draw an equivalence and say you do stuff too. That is the simplicity of this degeneracy.
Yeah, you never take.
And there's something else that's important to point out here. There is a difference between having an or else attached to things and not having them attached to things. If a public health official calls you and says, we believe that, you're a vector for misinformation that's leading to the deaths of people or the potential deaths of people, we think you should take this down. That's very, very different than someone saying, you need to take this down or else you're going to face sanctions.
That's what I said.
There's some other business. Oh my God, fucking A. It is different when the government wields its power to force you to be coercive. I have not seen any evidence that they have been coercive. If you have that evidence, that it's not just them saying, we think you should do this, but actually, if you don't do this, we're going to take X action, please provide that evidence.
Oh my God, that's crazy what he just said. Can you believe he just said that? If they went into the Senate and said they would feel pressure, if they said they would feel pressure, this is the most crazy thing I've ever heard.
Feeling pressure is not coercion. What the fuck? What are we doing?
When the American government tells you to do something, you do it.
By the way,
they didn't do that.
These are all
Listen to the damn Senate.
Can I speak? These are all the same tech guys that we saw at the inauguration, kissing the ring, wanting to work with Trump, wanting to have the Trump administration smile upon them. So the fact that they're coming out now and saying something that is very helpful to Trump and aligned with the MAGA agenda, I have to question their motives.
So we're getting into conspiracy theories now?
Oh, no, that's not a conspiracy theory. They're doing it for the money because they don't want to, because of the regulations. But again, it doesn't take away from the point that the time and what was going on throughout that time. Just like when you brought about Bill Clinton and everything in the time, what was happening? What was the tone of the country? What was happening at that time? But again, if we're going to have
it was a pandemic with millions of lives were at stake.
Every single time,
millions of lives at stake.
Every single time that we bring up something about the Democratic side, you just want to sweep it under the rug and you just want to say, oh well, they're.
And then you want to be emotional and say,
like you guys did things too.
See, that's the whole point.
That's exactly what you just said.
We're the ones that don't take accountability.
You guys have
not once, and if none of you guys don't take accountability, none of you.
So they all they do.
For the cancel culture, for any of those things that you guys started.
Let Quinn speak.
You guys said that.
One mic on Quinn.
There you go.
It's very obvious. I mean, to anybody with half a brain. This is what you're doing. You're trying to draw equivalences instead of actually addressing what's being said. I've heard Janice, I've heard Aaron say twice that this was about a pandemic. This was about information trying to make it so that disinformation and misinformation didn't enter the sphere. This is a false equivalence to what you are talking about. Yet, you are still trying to draw equivalences because you don't want to address the actual information, the context of what's being said. It's very easy to dismiss context, A, when you don't know it, and B, when you don't care. Because it doesn't matter. The whole point of it is to say that you do wrong stuff too. And I'm going to do that so that I don't seem like I'm the only one or I'm endorsing the only team that does fucked up shit. And no one here has said that there's not equivalences, that there aren't some. We're saying that this isn't one of them. And you keep trying to draw equivalences, which makes you look less credible for every other argument you make, because you can't even admit when this is not that.
So stop blaming Trump for everything. Stop saying this is a crisis. Stop using words like that. Don't use crisis word.
So he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the difference between equivalency. I don't think he does.
Don't use words like dictatorship. Don't use those words because we have evidence to show that you guys have done crazy things too.
Exactly.
Here's the problem.
You can still use them in both contexts, Amari. That's your problem. If something rises to the level of someone doing something doing something to achieve autocracy, or that is doing something that is aligned with a dictator, then you can call it that.
No, that isn't for you to decide.
Yes, it
There's
is.
no evidence of it. No,
it
it
is
isn't.
an observation.
That doesn't mean it's right.
It can be proven that they are in alignment. I'm not saying to just simply.
That's called rhetoric, by the way.
I'm saying that if you can draw equivalences between the two, where they are alike, then yes, you can call it that. And what most people are asserting is that it is in. What most people are asserting that it is online. It is online. It is in the same vein as that thing.
So Quinn, I agree.
And they're actually pointing it out.
So Quinn, I agree with you that yes, there was disinformation. I agree with you there. But again, to try to make it seem as if that's the only thing that was happening at that time, to try to make it seem as if there were people that walked away that were deplatformed, that people that were their voices were silenced, and that there were people that and the disproportionate idea of it, that one side was there was more people on one side that were being deplatformed, that were being demonetized, versus another side, and that there was
people
one
who
voice,
were trying to kill
tone,
people.
There was one voice or one tone that was being, no matter what it was, especially if you were online with somebody, that was what happened. And again, for you guys to sit up here and act like all of that was right, and just to try to hang it under the umbrella of disinformation, it's absolutely wrong.
That's what they're talking about. What is he talking about? Oh, what is he talking? Can somebody?
Are you still ghostwriting the whip?
I can explain it. So what he's doing is trying to equate misinformation about the pandemic with a political side,
exactly,
which is fascinating. It's interesting.
And it wasn't just during the pandemic,
but it's actually nuts.
What is he talking about?
So when we're talking about people lying,
read it and you'll find out.
When we're talking about people lying about medical treatments that aren't actually medical treatments, they're just like grifts. That's something that I don't think it's unreasonable for a public health official to go to Google and say, this is dangerous. We request that you do something about it. In fact, I would encourage that, because part of what we see right now is a lot of people are following bullshit, grifty pseudoscience around their health, and people are
don't
getting
take Tylenol.
Like, don't take Tylenol.
Tylenol said don't take Tylenol.
Or that measles.
I had to ask the question
Or like
I wouldn't have been able to go read what you're saying, because what you're saying is not going to be anywhere. That's in your head. So that's why I asked what it was you were trying to say, because it's more misinformation, and I wouldn't know where to go find misinformation. I wanted to know what the truth is. So thank you very much.
But herein lies the rub. You just did exactly what Aaron just said, and what I've been referencing, Amari. Tylenol did not say don't take Tylenol. Tylenol has never said that.
They tweeted that out in 2017. If for pregnant people.
They did. They said for pregnant people. You just said for pregnant people. Context matters.
Every time you say something to a Democrat, they tell you no. It's crazy.
Well, no one said don't take Tylenol if you're not pregnant, so that's a Captain Obvious.
What?
Donald Trump said it yesterday.
I counted over 50
So what are you talking about?
They were talking about pregnant women the whole time.
That was the context. Don't forget about the context, Quinn.
There was no what he said.
It was context, sir. What are you talking about?
Blanketly, do not, and he said this over 35 times. Do not take Tylenol. There was no context.
There was context. They had a whole team of people. What are you talking about?
The whole conference was on that.
It was about autism and pregnant women. Like, what's going on here? Like, why are you guys making stuff up?
They're just crazy.
Pink Pill, what's that? What were you saying?
You people know that there's none of what he's talking about is rooted in science. None of it is rooted in
I have a
science.
question.
He's saying what they're hardly hear, Pink Pill. Just let you know.
Anybody ever know? Can anybody name any other president besides Trump that has been on stage to talk about medicine and what
I mean, there was a whole ACA passed. I don't know.
Is there?
Sure.
Did you hear my question? But did you hear my question?
Oh, we heard it.
So that's your problem, Omari. That's why Lisa like you on stage. You content right now. You terrible content. Anyway,
Let's ride the whip.
what I said, my question was, can you name another president besides Trump that has, acted in the stead of a doctor or an authority, although RFK is not one, but do what he did. Can you name another president who's done that? That's my question.
I think probably Ronald Reagan and George Clinton during the AIDS era. They did that a lot.
George Clinton?
Okay, what did they say? Tell me what they, because so you name one. What did he say? Because I don't want, that's what y'all do. You could throw out any president. What did he say? Ma'am, go on mute and find what he said and come back and tell me, please.
I'm driving. I can't do that right now.
Yeah, I know you can't. So drive and be quiet.
So you know what? I don't know.
Yeah, be quiet though, because you don't have a real answer.
I've literally been right the whole time, but okay, lady.
But you literally need to be quiet and drive. Didn't you say that? Thank you.
I don't know if you all are aware too that RFK, the FDA,
in 2006.
for autism, and that's the new thing that's for autism, and that company that produces it is owned by Dr. Odd.
So we got on this conversation initially talking about Jimmy Kimmel and the First Amendment and how we're supposed to, be a democracy, not an authoritarian state, punishing people for what they say. So I just want to say one thing on that, which is that if you know about, I'm sure many of you know the story of our founding, which is that it was a bunch of English people who didn't want to be oppressed by the king. I mean, obviously I'm shortening it, but in short, they had all of these oppressive experiences under the King of England, and they decided they didn't want to be under a king anymore. They wanted to do something different. And one of the king can do, or maybe another word for a king is a dictator, can do, is throw people in jail, kill them, do whatever for the things that they say. So the problem with this Trump behavior and what's so scary about it, it's not just, oh my God, we're not going to get our favorite late night show or whatever. Like, if the consequences stopped at some of your favorite TV shows will have to be on YouTube and they won't be on TV anymore. I honestly don't think that in and of itself, even though it by First Amendment, blah, blah, I don't think that's that big of a deal. But the problem is that these dictators, they never stop. They don't stop at taking the TV show off the air. If you've ever heard the phrase, give them an inch, they take a mile. And we can see what other authoritarians around the world have done when their citizens say things they don't like. They put them in jail. They detain them for awful conditions. They these people go to jail for years. They don't get food. They can't see their family. And the other problem is that once they're allowed to do things like that, right? Once it's
Yeah, there you go. Yo, he's not lying. Yo, lying. You hit that on the nail, nigga. I did my part. You got to do the rest. But no, I 3D printed one, but I ain't for buying shit I can make. For real.
Oh, you a 3D printer?
Yeah, I think I got a vase somewhere around here.
But y'all right. I'm gonna go buy a vase. Y'all right. I shouldn't have made fun of
You go to one. You go take. That's all right. It's all right, bro.
No, but that is a problem. Every time I buy flowers, I say, "Damn, I gotta buy a vase." I put it in a fucking thermos.
Hey, these cats. I should have left this little nigga out on the street.
But cats gotta go.
You didn't talk about your mouth.
Yeah, I got two cats and a Doberman. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Having cats in the house is unhygienic, bro. That's
They stink, bro. But I ain't gonna lie. I can't talk. I can't talk, Eric. I had a fucking rabbit.
Nah, that's
Wait, rabbit is gay?
Y'all wanna see what my pig looks like?
A rabbit is gay, Trini?
Yeah, I think that is kind of gay.
Yeah, what you mean? Of course,
you got a rabbit. You
guys are out of your fucking mind, bro.
Name one hard nigga that has a rabbit.
Find them. What you mean?
50 Cent.
I guess I get what you're saying.
Oh fuck, nigga said 50 Cent.
That nigga was cool as shit. He was thug. What is you talking about?
Wait, your rabbit was named 50 Cent? 50 Cent. You named your rabbit 50?
My rabbit was what was it? It was Aspen.
A white rabbit. That little vernacular gentrifying little fuck.
He wasn't white. He was she was gray.
Close enough, nigga. That's on the spectrum of white.
I buried her early this year, man.
That nigga had a white bunny.
For sure had a mixed rabbit.
When you crying, nigga, I know you were.
I ain't crying, boy. My kid cried. I'm glad he dealt with that.
What did you say when the rabbit died?
I said he dead. He gone. He ain't coming.
He got dinner tonight.
Y'all don't remember when I came in here? And I told y'all, I said, one person was like, oh, I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have told him that. Because the motherfucker was like, oh, he's sleeping. I was like, what you?
Oh, I do remember that.
I said, you remember that?
Yeah, I did.
And I said, nah, he not sleeping. He gone. So motherfuckers, people in this room that was beating me up for that shit.
It was all a girl.
Some of the women. But look, Eric, I'm glad 6 months later, it was probably like 6 months later, right?
Yeah.
My grandmother passed this past, you feel what I'm saying? And my kid, the 5-year-old, I took him to the funeral. Everything, burial, viewing, everything. He handled that shit like a boss. Yeah, I told you that we appreciate that birthday that you Bayesian woman. She claimed Trinidad, but born. And she got my mother and her 5 brothers, all to the States. She worked in Venezuela. As a nurse, she speaks fluent Spanish. She moved to the States in the...
Who is this you're talking about?
My grandmother. My early 60s or 70s. She moved she was up here before that, but she moved all of her kids up here. So yeah, she's a strong woman. Too soon. Nah, she would have laughed at that. For sure. She up there with her sister. It was her and my aunt.
In a new and highly anticipated document that was just released on the Federal Register's website, the IRS finally provided some much-needed clarification regarding when a president...
She said, why you don't eat that thing?
She Jamaican? I could even say Charlie Kirk at one point until he cut her off, and then you had Brandon Tatum, you had Bryson, whatever his name is, Gray, whatever.
Tatum, the biggest fucking fanboy clown. You brought up Tatum. You have respect for Tatum?
No, I don't like his wife. I think his wife is always trying to target black women.
See, you don't know me.
Well, you associated with them, bro. You associated with them.
They invited me to one. They invited me to one event.
Let me tell you something.
I saw the game for what it is, and then
Omar, let me say something. I had somebody that I used to rock with, right? And he allowed Trump to use him as a fucking guinea pig, right? Show off that he got wounded in combat and all this bullshit like that. I didn't fuck with the dude after that, bro.
I don't fuck with them either. See, that's the point.
You still rocking with them, man?
So you taking my vote for Trump as my pledge with Brexit? No, I separate the two. You're not separating two. Like I can vote, like Mike would tell you, and others would tell you, we can vote for Trump and not support not one person in Brexit, not support TPUSA action.
That's crazy, bro.
That's like me. That's like me. If you rock the CBC, but you voted for
Brexit was to get black people to move over to control.
You know, you guys, please let him.
I'm sorry. No. We're just talking about back and forth.
No, I'm not having back and forth. I'm gonna let you guys have your back and forth. I really am gonna let you guys have your back and forth. I promise. Good.
I would say this, Haitian. I would say, and I'm trying to find like how to type. Let's say for your side. Okay, I was supposed to be at the Congressional Black Caucus.
What's my side?
I know you're independent. I get it, but I'm gonna say for the Congressional Black Caucus, they had their convention this week. I was supposed to be there. I couldn't make it. If you could rock with them, but let's say you know what, but you're not going to support Biden. I'm not going to say okay, you know, I'm not going to hold that against you. You like the people in the Congressional Black Caucus. You like their message. I didn't like the message of Brexit, but I still supported the policies under President Trump. Brexit was not America first. They were on some other type of shit. I could pick up on bullshit right away. I bowed out. Like I don't want to be part of this.
So you could pick up on bullshit, but you still rocking with Trump all these years later.
You don't like Trump. I don't like the policies of the Democratic parties. I don't like the policies of the Democratic Party. I don't like the way they have open borders. I don't like sanctuary cities. I don't like none of that.
We don't have open borders. That's a lie.
Hey, you can call it what you want to call it.
Oh my God! What?
You can call it what you ever want to call it. It's basically open borders.
Open borders.
It's catch and release.
Oh, we got some more maggots on stage. Y'all want to jump in? We got Matt. We got Notorious. We got what happened to Pink Pill?
Well, thankfully she left, so we should all thank God.
Maybe she was thrown out the room. You know how that goes.
Somebody threw out the fucking room. Wait,
what did you say?
Stop.
Let him repeat it again.
Oh, what's that?
Stop.
Let me put your picture up. Let me put your picture.
This is the hate that we talking about. This is the hate that we're talking. And the doctor hated them.
No, we're not gonna do that.
I never told you you had rights to put my picture up.
That's not this kind. Look, this is not this kind of room, you guys. We're just having a conversation. Okay, this is not this kind of room. We're just trying to have a conversation with other people who have different opinions than us, with different viewpoints than us. And once again, we're not here to change anybody's mind. We're just here to have a conversation. That's it. That's all we're here for. So if you want to, whatever you guys want to do as far as the way you think, the way you vote, that's your own private opinion. That's what you do in the privacy of the voting booth and in the privacy of your home. But when you're on the stage and we just want to discuss things and throw out some current events and discuss them, that's what we're here for. So, is there any other break? You need that done with your Scrabble?
I have a question.
Go ahead. Can I just ask one thing, Haitian? No, real good. But Haitian, do you respect the fact that I don't like? Do you respect the fact I don't like open? Like that really bothers me.
I'm done.
I told you.
I don't offend anybody. I'm done.
No, you're not. We're talking. You and I had a conversation. So, like, I told you the story, and when I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I, when she was I know Lisa went to USC. When she was a police officer at USC on campus.
Okay, I'm getting ready to close the room because if we're gonna have this problem, I just said very clearly. That's why you guys are not the only ones in the room. Okay, look down. There are other people in the room besides you guys.
That's true.
So, right. So what I'm saying to you is they came in here to listen to us have a discussion. That's what they came here for. So can we have the discussion? That's just it.
That's why I said
It's
He asked me a question. Hold on. He asked me a question. I just want to have a follow-up question for him because I think I answered his question.
Listen, Omari.
okay. So Mari, somebody else.
Okay,
But I'm happy to ask a question
Okay,
to you.
can someone answer my question? Can someone answer my one question?
I'll answer the question, but you're misrepresenting facts. So
it's not about facts. I'm talking about my own personal why I voted. So I need you
to have a problem with that. I wouldn't.
Do you respect that? We lost someone on New Year's Day. On New Year's Day, we lost a friend and his wife were driving home to a drunk driver.
Okay.
That changed us.
So let me ask you a question, and just as substantive as a question you've asked, if a white person would have killed your friend, would that have led you to believe would that have made you angry with all white people?
No, but this person should have never been here.
Well, what I'm saying is, with that, what difference does it make if they were here? And I understand the nuance, so I'm not being facetious. I'm saying that because this happened with an illegal immigrant, or supposedly an illegal, and I'm going to take your word for that. If that happened, why does this mean that? Does this mean that this is the pension of all illegal immigrants or all immigrants in general?
Of course not. I'm not going to paint that broad, but that was that. But you got to understand that made us like angry.
I completely understand that. I'm not just.
I mean, they had a daughter, they had a 15-year-old daughter who had to go live with her aunt.
Understood.
And uncle. And so it was very personal to my wife. Again, I know Lisa. She graduated from USC. My wife was a USC police officer, campus police. So he was also a campus police officer.
Understood. What I'm asking you is that this has shaped your belief about immigrants in general, whether they were supposed to be here or not.
I got another story. I used to live in Azusa, California. I don't know if Miss Susan in the room. Miss Susan. I used to when I went to 7th grade. Let me tell you, these Azusa 13 cholos. You walk by.
You took over the Fed in 2000.
All these motherfuckers come up and try to and then you know, I used to play the band. I used to play the trombone. So I had to always keep the little mouthpiece from the trombone in my pocket. So if I had to go hit somebody, I had to knock a motherfucker out. And it was that's when I moved to Altadena. After that, my mother was like, one of the cholos who lived close by said, "You're on a hit list." You know, because I used to be a dancer. You know, I used to be at the skating rings and shit like that back in the day. Yeah, it was called the Bozak Tribe. That's another whole another story. I used to be a good dancer back in the day, but yeah, we used to battle. And then so I beat this guy in the battle at the skating rink, and they wanted to fight. Now I was on this list to get killed by these cholos. All that shit all adds up to people while we're sick of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're black people, and here we're being targeted by these essays.
But Omari, you sound like when white people talk about harm that's come to them or their communities vis-a-vis someone who was black, and now they think that there's, you know, the cops are just so easy on these black people, and we need more policing of black communities, and these people should have been in jail, and that's what you sound like to me. Or you don't think that?
When you're being called Mayate, you're being called the N-word, my daughter, my little girl, and I could get her on the mic, she was called gorilla by these Mexicans. And yeah, this is the truth. So I mean, this shit
the same thing, bro.
So you're advocating for collective punishment.
It made me feel like, what is the Democrat? Like, if I'm dealing with this as a black man, and
because your emotions, your emotional reaction.
That's how people vote. People vote personally.
Your emotional reaction is 100% valid. And it's also valid for you to vote on your emotions. That is your right. You have the right to vote based on anything you want to vote on. But we cannot run our entire government policy based on the emotions that people feel after something bad has happened to them by a member of a particular group. We can't make our whole government policy based on that.
Okay. All right. I